Cayman's top news headlines of the day from CMR.
All right. Good morning, Sandy. How are you today?
Good morning, Erin. I'm fantastic. How are you?
Good. I know you're on that mute button so that I don't get you in Facebook jail.
I know.
Again.
You got it.
Yeah. Anyway.
How's everything going today?
Good. Yeah, I was a little shocked to see all the wrecked cars yesterday.
OMG. All I can tell you is I was literally in the afternoon. I was like, okay, I think I need to just pick up Gigi early from school and get home because
traffic was terrible.
I was a little bit scared of all the crazy drivers, I gotta admit. And then I realized that the traffic was horrendous. So
I didn't even get why it was bad. Some of it wasn't even due to an accident, was it?
No, I have no idea I have no clue what was going on.
I think CUC was doing some work over by Kings. So that was obviously that one roundabout when you block that area and you're down to one lane, that's gonna
South
Sound, I have no idea because I went down South Sound to go and get my youngest, and there was I don't know. I don't know. That one I didn't understand. I went around. I didn't even go down South Sound. I went all the way around, and then I realized it was backed up on the bypass. I was like, no.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Fun times talking about traffic.
Yeah, so lots of things going on. So yesterday, the police announced that hit and run accident the evening before with the motorbike and Kuro that they had arrested the female driver involved in that situation. So I think we mentioned it on yesterday's program that she was kind of like MIA, and the police actually had taken her door off of her apartment the night before to gain access, and they just could not find her. So they now have her in custody, and that's going to be a very interesting case because I'm not really sure why she was running, but just be careful.
I mean,
this tourism stipend program comes to an end this month. So the 22nd, which is tomorrow, should be the last day for tourism stipend payments. So if you were part of that program, just beware that that's it. You got to find a job somehow, get back to work, try to supplement your income by any legal means that you can. Margarita Beach Resort is up for sale. And so, of course, this resort has had a little bit of an interesting history, not paying pensions and other liabilities. So it's kind of an interesting situation to see how that will eventually flush out. So they have a number of unpaid pension liabilities and a hefty electricity bill. Because I don't know if you remember this or not, but CUC actually sued them. Do you remember that? Yeah.
No. Huh.
CUC sued them for, I forget how much it was, but it was a lot of money.
But this is the one. Yeah, this is the one on 7 Mile Beach area.
Yes.
West Bay Road. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they hadn't even been paying their utility bill, which is kind of crazy. So yeah, now they're trying to actually sell it. Congratulations to the Crooks siblings. They are representing Cayman at the Swimming World Championships that are happening right now, FINA. And this is a big deal. So we wish to, wish Jordan and Jillian a fantastic time competing. So the competition runs from the 18th of June to the 4th of July. And their older brother, who's Jordan, finished his first year competing for the University of Texas as the fastest freshman in the 50 and 100-yard freestyles. So an NCAA history. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Congrats to them and good luck.
So good stuff there. Keep swimming. Wonderful.
That's cool. That's really cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. So yesterday there was quite a bit of stuff going on in East End. We haven't really gotten all of the details quite yet on what was happening, but there was a house fire in the morning. Like literally as we were having this show, it was like house fire, that. I was like, oh my God, what on earth is going on?
That's scary.
So yeah, there was a house fire in the morning. And by the way, just a request, that family is looking for a container to put whatever they have left from the house fire in that container. So if anyone, knows of someone who just has a free container, then please, feel free to contact them. They'd be happy for the assistance. And there was also some sort of a drug bus and a vehicle that was towed away. And then there was a search and rescue mission after 5 o'clock last night. I'm hearing that a teenager has actually gotten in the water out snorkeling on a boat or something and got into some trouble. So we don't have the police commenting on any of these things as yet. So as soon as we have some official word, we will definitely put those up. But yeah, East End was really, really busy yesterday. There was like 3 fire trucks, multiple police units,
Wow.
FRU, the firearm response unit. Yeah, it was kind of crazy. And then this morning, there was action in East End again. So I don't know if that's in relation to the search and rescue, if that continues or what is going on, but very busy day.
And I just want to say something really quick, because yesterday after the show, I took my dog for a walk where I take him all the time. And I just want to say to people, if your animal passes, dispose of your animal in a proper way, not in a plastic bag where I have to call DEH and get it removed. Yeah. I think they could put that together without me being
Sounds like
morbid. It was so disturbing for me yesterday. I was like, what is that? And I was like, oh my gosh, Nico, get away. And I looked down and just
Nico is your dog.
Nico is my dog, and there was just it like been thrown away like the trash. But they took it to this empty island and just dumped it over on the side where the sea washes up on the side.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, you guys heard it from Aaron.
Dump.
Dispose of your dog poo poo.
Not dog poo poo. Not dog poo poo. Dog. No, dog.
Oh my God! No way.
Yes, I don't care about dog. This was a dog thrown out in the trash.
Oh my gosh!
That I came up on yesterday, and I'm like so mentally disturbed by this. Like I just like left when I was walking the dog. I like finished the walk. I got home and I was just like, oh my gosh! And shout out to CJ, one dog at a time. She helped me get into contact with people, and but
wow,
you can get help. People, Department of Environmental Health will help you out. Dispose of your animal, but that's just so inhumane and disgusting.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
And finally, we wish to express our condolences to the family of Tad Stoner. He's a former journalist at Cayman News, iNews, and The Compass. And he passed away day before yesterday. And we wish his family and friends, some comfort during this time. I didn't personally know him, but I knew a lot of people who did. And everybody is always like, he was such an awesome person. Funny, good sense of humor, excellent writer. And just a straight up good guy.
Yeah. Oh, well, definitely condolences. All right. Well, you got to head over to Bobo for your show, 89.1, and enjoy the rest of the day. Yep, you too. See you tomorrow. Bye.
Oh gosh, I thought Erin was talking about the other stuff. Like I didn't realize she meant, ugh, that's disgusting. All right. About 30 seconds left.
Sorrel, ginger, fever grass, or English. Get it ready. Your morning tea just got hotter.
Ooh, honey child.
On the cold, hard truth. Bobo 89.1 and Cayman's #1 talk show are bringing you morning talk like no one else. Monday Rewind, Impact Wednesdays, Caribbean Connections, and much more. Don't miss a beat with what's happening in the local community. Just keep sipping your tea.
What a mess.
Here's your host, live and direct from the Cayman Islands, Sandy Hill.
Folks, good morning. Happy Tuesday. Terrific Tuesday. Why not? Up and at 'em. Let's get some stuff done this morning. Good morning to one and good morning to all. Just sending out our WhatsApp information here. So please, folks, do not forget we do have a WhatsApp news group. If you would like the news directly to your WhatsApp number, feel free to let us know because we've got a news list. It's confidential. Nobody else knows who's on the list. So when you'll get the notifications. And then if you wish to respond, your response is actually a private response. So even better. But essentially what that means is every single thing that goes on the website, every single news alert, and sometimes you get a little bit extra as well. Because sometimes we'll send out stuff that, is only discussion for the news list. So if you'd like to be added to the news list, do WhatsApp us and we'd be happy to add you to that. No problem at all. We've got hundreds of people literally on that news list. So every single morning, one of the things that they receive from us are the notification, the links to say, hey, here's how you can join and listen to the live show right now as we go live. So that's one of the multiple things that I'm multitasking and doing in the mornings. Of course, you guys know that today is Medical Rundown Tuesday. So our friends from Health City are in the studio with us, and we're going to be talking about Founders Day today and what that means and what that's all about. But we are Caymanians first and foremost, and we believe in our manners. So let us say good morning to everyone who's watching. We have Miss Vernita, who sent her morning greetings already. We have Marshall, who's finally back home from a nice long vacation in North Carolina. We've got Evelyn from the Newlands area who joins us every single morning. Miss Wee Wee has also got it locked. Diamond Princess. We've missed you, Diamond Princess, for a couple days. Don't know if you were busy or what was going on. Luis is here, chef extraordinaire. So Luis is always posting stuff on Facebook about what he's cooking. And I saw him with one whole fish the other day that looked really good. He had it fixed up nicely with some plantains and carrots and other things. Look delicious. Magdalene always has it locked. She's tagging a few people this morning, telling them to listen to the conversation. So she's got Graham Rankin tagged. She's got Miss Joan Barnes. Magdalene, very good. Olivia is also here. Good morning, Olivia. Louis is joining us from Detroit. Louis is a Caymanian that lives overseas, and he often can be found every single morning listening to CMR from his garden in Detroit. He's got a couple beautiful dogs and a beautiful garden. He's always growing something. So good morning to you, Louis. He says good morning to the CMR Nation at home and abroad. It's a great day. Enough love, everyone. Don is also joining us. He says good morning to Bobo audience. Hello. Hi, Don. Melita is here. Thank you so much, Miss Melita. Rita says buenos dias. Alice says good morning to Sandy and all. And KK says missing teen. Yes. I'm hoping that we can get some sort of an update from the police about that. Celine is also joining us. And so, like I said, we've got Health City in the studio. So let us kick it off with them. And then we will come back after their segment, which is the first hour of the program. And we can talk about some of the other things that are going on in the community. So really, really busy these days is all I can tell you. But welcome to Shamari. Shamari, good morning.
Good morning. How are you doing, Sandy?
Oh, honey child, I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I'm good.
Wonderful. So good to see you.
Good to see you.
Shamari is the Chief Business Officer at Health City, which means that he's in charge of a lot of things. And
whatever is needed.
Yes. And one of those things, of course, is marketing and telling us all the wonderful things that is actually happening at Health City. So it's good to know, what's going on over there. And I'm also really, really pleased that you guys have highlighted some of your staff. So good morning to Carmelie, who's also joining us. So this is wonderful to learn a bit more about Founders Day and exactly what this means. But I love that you are focusing on Caymanian staff, their development, and you've had some people who've been with you from day one. So we're going to be speaking to Lenicia McLaughlin this morning. So Lenicia, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
For some reason, your screen is completely black, so I don't know why that is. But nonetheless, we can hear you perfectly fine. So good to see you. So Shamari, tell us a little bit. This is the month. This is now June, but in May of last year, Health City's leadership decided to celebrate its first annual Founders Day. So tell us what that is.
Right, May of this year. Right.
May of this year. Oh, yes. Yeah. Sorry. So that was just last month.
Just last month. So what Founders Day is, obviously everybody in Cayman more or less knows about our founder, Dr. Debbie Shetty, that believes that a solution is not a solution unless it's affordable. And in developing all of his facilities across India, they have over 30 hospitals and embedded units. He has a value system and an ethos that runs throughout all of the hospitals. And because we've been here for 8 years, up and running, serving the people of the Cayman Islands, Caribbean, US, Canada, and LATAM. We thought it was time for us. It's actually his birthday during that day in May, and we thought we would celebrate, our founder, Dr. Devi Shetty, and everything that he's done globally as well as here locally. And in doing that, we know that the bedrock of the hospital is the people who are there from a day-to-day perspective, the ones that are, putting their shoulder to the wheel to make sure that Health City is functioning. And really, they're the people that have brought us to where we are today. And we thought it was fitting to have long service awards during that time, to have a breakfast, a celebration of all of the staff on that day. And we kicked off our first ever Chairman's Award on Founders Day, which is the person who more or less encompasses everything that Health City is and who we are and what we do. And it was with great pleasure that we were able to, and it was unanimous when her name was raised as who should be the first recipient of the Chairman's Award. And it is Lanny McLaughlin, who was with us from virtually day one. And if you're looking at an employee that truly is dedicated, truly is there at any point of the day and night with the interest of the patients at heart, she's the person that personifies that professionalism, hardworking. And we were just very, very pleased to be able to announce that Lanny McLaughlin would be the first ever chairman's recipient. And everybody who comes after are really going to have to fill big shoes based on everything Lanny does for Health City.
Wonderful. Wow. Lanicia, did you hear all of that? That sounds amazing. So first of all, congratulations on winning this accolade. I think this is amazing. So Lanicia McLaughlin is the manager for the referrals and emergencies section. And tell us a little bit, if you will, about what that's like.
It's amazing. It's different on an everyday to day basis. It can be busy, it can be a medium flow. So it's emergencies anywhere from the cruise ships to air ambulances coming in to helicopters from the BRAC or Little Cayman. So it's saving lives one patient at a time.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Now, when you heard that you were awarded this or recognized in this way by receiving the first ever Founders Day sort of, award, did you think for a minute there, what? Did you pause? What was your reaction at the time of receiving this?
So Dr. Druva said, I need you at the awards on Saturday. Just please come. So I didn't know they were doing the Chairman's Award. I was actually talking while Shamari started to speak, and it drew my attention when everybody screamed my name. And I'm like, what? So when he finally said, okay, yes, it is her, I was like, I sat down, I didn't get up. I was shocked.
Wow. That's amazing.
So the interesting thing is, we had the Founders Day celebration on a Saturday morning.
Yes.
And it just so happens that it was Lanny's birthday. So guess who had vacation that day? So she didn't know she was receiving the award. So Dr. Druva, who is our medical director, had to call her and tell her, please, we need you to come. We need you to come. So Lanny thought, obviously, because she was there for 8 years, that it was going to be the 8-year award. And she was unaware that the really important award was what was going to be given to her on that day. And we're just so thankful to have Lanny with us. And we have so many other hardworking staff. But as I mentioned before, Lanny is that supernova type of person who has done everything for Health City. She has helped from the inception with protocols and such in her area as well. And if there was one person when we were early days, when we were starting, who needed to be on call many days in a row just because we would have had at that point in time less staff as we started to, drive to have more patients. Lani was
Mhm.
always dependable. Lani was always there from day one, and she continues to be there to this day.
Wow. So you pulled off a secret, something that Lani didn't know, which I find hard to believe because she knows everything that's going on. So you managed to keep her in the dark and on her birthday of all days.
Yep. So we had to apologize pulling her off her birthday celebrations, but that definitely, I'm sure, added to her celebration that weekend.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Amazing. So Lani, tell us a little bit about, you, like Shamari said, you've been at Health City pretty much from day one. What has that been like working with an organization such as Health City to really see them from their early days and their infancy, getting things started, building this amazing and tremendous facility that is now a staple, not just in the District of East End, but throughout the Cayman Islands, and they continue to grow and expand beyond the services and the facility that they started out with. So you've seen a lot of changes in these years, 8 years. So tell us what that experience has been like.
So when I first came, of course, we were just opening up. Policies were not in place. So I went through and sort of run through everything. Start as we went along, we were building policies and procedures, writing manuals, ensuring that everything is sorted out and runs smoothly. Like Shamari said, it was only me for the first few years because our volumes were not that high. So it was constantly on call, constantly filtering calls from the cruise ships, from the Caribbean countries, constantly filtering calls, whether a helicopter is coming from the BRAC or whether it's a medevac with Cayman Airways. So it's been fun. I always like to look at it. I'm an adrenaline junkie. So it gives me that adrenaline to rush through.
Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about what it is that you do as the manager for referrals and emergencies. So give us a little walkthrough on, I know you said that there's so many things that have in the past been involved in your sort of job role and responsibility, and you like the diversity and you like the adrenaline that comes with all of this, but give us a little bit more about specifically what you do. So for example, I've heard that you help to coordinate transfers to the actual hospital facility. What else is involved in your routine?
Okay, so if you go to your doctor on island and they refer you to a specialist at Health City, the referral comes into us. We open the referral, we check your insurance benefits, we give you a call. We explain your benefits to you, whether you have to pay or your insurance covers 100%. And we get you scheduled in with the proper doctor that you need to see. So once we schedule that, we upload all the documents to your chart so that the doctor can see that before you arrive, so he knows exactly what you're coming to see him for. That's the easy part.
That's the easy part.
Yeah.
So, folks, she does everything related to patient admissions, coordinating overseas air ambulance transfers, both to and from the facility, managing walk-in emergency cases, recording, responding, and processing incoming patient referrals, and implementing department changes for smoother operations, because this is a management role. Now, tell us a bit about your progression. You went from manager. What was your original position with Health City?
I came in as a customer service manager.
Okay, and so now you have moved, kind of further up, dealing with emergencies and referrals manager. So did you go from customer service manager to the emergency and referrals manager?
Yes.
Did you do something in between? You went from that. Okay. All right. And I think this is good, Shamari, to demonstrate how people can come into an organization such as Health City specifically. And, they can do courses, they can get on the job training and other things that will allow them to move up into management positions.
No, definitely. And we actually have an entire program that's called our Healthcare Explorers, which talks about incentivizing, sparking minds of young persons towards medical pathways. And as part of that program as well, it also speaks to helping to train staff to become technicians and such. And one, not for this program today, but definitely in the coming weeks, we'll bring on Mr. Charles Bush as well as myself to talk about those success stories. And we've taken students from, now we've seen the entire loop of the journey where they started with us when they were 13, 14, shadow a doctor and the such. They came to intern with us. They got interested in, for instance, being a physiotherapist, went to Jamaica, got their degree, and now are actually doing the last year to become certified with us at Health City, to have their full certification, to then hopefully work with Health City as a physiotherapist. A young Caymanian lady named Melanie, for instance, went through that path. So we'll be able to show those pathways. However, today, with Lani, she came in and she was doing one thing in Health City, but what's interesting is we knew that was her passion, but if you see her with emergencies, you can definitely tell that that's truly her passion. Lani is somebody who needs to be in the midst of the action. And what we like to say is, if there's a building burning, you have two types of people, right? The people running out and the people running in. And Lani is one of the persons that would be running into the building. She loves helping people. She thrives in what would otherwise be very stressful situations for other people. And you always need those types of individuals that can keep a cool head, can be calm, collected, and think about it. She's dealing with families that actually have a loved one in distress, and she's able to navigate, speak to physicians, get medical records, ensure the ambulance is there, get the patient and the loved ones to Health City, and then she puts them together with the physicians that are there to actually save lives. We've had so many lives that have been saved over the past 8 years, and Lani would have been one of those key components in that clog or in that wheel to ensure that we were able to produce great results for the majority of the patients that come to Health City. Lani has also been deeply involved in our international emergencies. So we have an international team that bring elective cases, which means, persons who get on a commercial airline and come for a knee replacement or even a cardiac surgery, but it's not emergency. Lani has been there for the emergencies where you'll have somebody in another island that needs to get on an air ambulance. She has to coordinate with the airport to make sure they can land, ambulance at the airport to pick them up right away to carry them directly to Health City. Lani has also helped with those protocols as well as with the day-to-day. And obviously she has a team of persons that are around her that either report directly with her or as her colleagues that she has to deal with. And she has always done a fabulous job of coordinating it all. And I think she is the type of person we like to hold up to show what Caymanians' work ethic truly does look like. And Lani personifies that.
Beautiful. So, folks, here's a picture of Lani receiving the Chairman's Award. And this is also her. Is this the same award, Shamari?
That is. So that's we like to keep things traditional as well. So that's Caymanite that we got. The Caymanite Award that every year whoever receives the Chairman's Award will get a Caymanite award that they can put in their house as well.
All right, folks. So if you're just joining the program, congratulations to the winner of the inaugural Health City Chairman's Award, Lanicia McLaughlin. She is manager for referrals and emergencies. She was recognized during the recent founder celebrations, which just took place last month, for her dedicated service at Health City since they opened their doors in 2014. And if you missed it, Shamari was just saying that she's an important member of their team from the very beginning. Her unwavering commitment to professionalism and ensuring emergency patients get the care that they need is living testimony to the vision of Health City that Dr. Shetty envisioned when he embarked on the journey to actually establish Health City. So, of course, the Founders Award is really all about celebrating Founders Day, which is centered around the birth date of Dr. Devi Shetty, who is the founder there at Health City. So this is amazing. So again, thank you guys for tuning into the program. Just been showing you a few pictures here of Lani at the award ceremony, and it just happened to fallen on her birthday this year. So she had a double reason to celebrate. So we do have some comments, folks. So good morning to Andine. Good morning to Miss Sue. I'm sure a lot of you are now tuning in because you would have received my WhatsApp message about a bit of a break-in story. So after our guest this morning, I'm going to tell you a bit about what's going on. Good morning to Brother Tommy, who's joining us from overseas. Bonnie from East End. Miss Norma, good morning. Just Sarah. Sue says, well done, Lani. Congrats. So very helpful to everyone there. So Miss Sue speaks from personal experience. Miss Lucille says, oh, she was missing us yesterday. Okay, Miss Lucille, we'll come back to that comment. Not a problem. Felicia, good morning, and good morning to Miss Sandra. So, you know, as a Caymanian, I think that when, you know, other Caymanians do well in the workplace and in the community and all these things, Shamari, that we should all be celebrating along with them, celebrating these accolades, because we hear a lot of the naysayers and negative stories, but the positive stories, and they are out there, such as this one about Caymanians who have embraced a position wholeheartedly, who've excelled, you know, in their role at their workplace, and who gives 110%. It's beautiful when the organization actually recognizes their hard earned efforts. And I think we should all be celebrating with them. So Lani, lots of people are very, very happy for you this morning to hear that you were actually the recipient of this award. Does it change life in any way?
It just makes me more ready to push more. And like I say, I always love helping people. So if there's somebody to be helped, I'm always there. Mm-hmm. So if you have a problem, I love to problem solve. Mm-hmm. So it's easy for me. It comes in just another day. But mm-hmm. for people in that situation where they're in the middle of an emergency, it means the world to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think all of us can relate, even if we've not had firsthand experience. But of course, in the middle of life and death situations of emergencies like this, when it comes to your health and your life, the procedures have to be followed and things have to be done in terms of intake and, you know, getting everything sorted out. But sometimes that's the very last thing that as a family member, or even as a patient, that you want to concern yourself with. So it's so wonderful to hear that Health City has this team being headed up by Lani and others who really make that transition and that process getting into the facility that much easier. So Miss Harriet is here. Is that your mommy?
Yes.
Miss Harriet, good
Hi,
morning.
Mommy.
Oh, I know Miss Harriet. She's always visiting my aunt, Adonia. Hello, Miss Harriet. So good to see you. She said, that's my girl. So Rhonda says, congratulations, Lani. Keep up the excellent work as always. Omiria also sends congratulations to you. Says, good morning, Sandy in the Cayman Islands. And congratulations to Lani. Beautiful. Shamari, again, I love this feel-good moment here today. Tell us a little bit more about some of the Caymanian staff complement that you have working at Health City.
Definitely. So the interesting thing is that of the non-medical staff, we have between 70 to 80% Caymanians that are there, and of the medical staff, we would have, of the total staff, we'd have close to 32%. Just obviously knowing the majority of our staff are medical or have a medical background because they're nurses, technicians, and physicians. That being said, many years ago, when we were strategically looking at in the future, how do we get more Caymanians to be trained in the area? What we did is Dr. Shetty always interesting. When I came from tourism, there was a trivia question that said, what's the profession that the majority of this profession knew that this is what they would be before the age of 10? You got that one, Sandy?
Yeah. So what profession?
That the majority of that profession actually knew they would be that profession before the age of 10.
Yep. Got it. Mm-hmm.
Which do you think it is?
I guess doctors.
So the actual answer to that trivia question, pilots, all right?
Pilots.
90% of pilots, 90% of those who become pilots knew that they would be pilots or wanted to be pilots before the age of 10. Now, not everybody who wants to be a pilot becomes a pilot, but of those that become. And I can even think back, Devin McLaughlin, good friend, back in school, when we were 7 or 8, I remember he wanted to be two things, a wrestler or a pilot, right? Now, he tried the bodybuilding thing, and that didn't necessarily work out, but then he became a pilot, right? And I was like, oh, this is actually true, right?
Wow.
But then what I also found when we came into healthcare is that the same thing happens. It's like 90% of physicians and nurses knew that they wanted to be that before the age of 12 or 13, right?
Wow.
So when we're having our educational types of programs, we quickly realize that getting kids that are 16, 15, 16 is great, but we actually need to start reaching them from an earlier age, right? From 9, 10, 11, 12, so that they can understand the possibilities and then they take that STEM pathway, or STEAM as it's called now, to be able to ensure that they have the basics. So when they really know that they want to do that at age 15 and 16, they have the foundation to be able to take that track, or it would be easier for them to take that track. So we were looking at it, probably would have been about 6 years ago, and of the scholarships for Caymanians going overseas in a medical inclined area, it would have been 9%. And we looked at it and we said, through all of our programs, if over the next 2 to 3 years we can get that up to 15%, we would have been successful. Obviously, there are other entities that are working on this as well. And sure enough, over 4 years, and when we last looked, 22% of all scholarships going overseas are within the medical field. So we're actually seeing that movement. And this is where you'll have stories such as Elman, who came in as a John Gray student, saw Dr. Shetty, spoke to Dr. Shetty, decided that he wanted to come into 2 or 3 different programs that we would have had in Health City, eventually came to work as a houseman with us, then transitioned over into the nursing department, and then eventually is at school for UCCI to become a nurse. We have a young man that is called Dwight, that would have come in as a porter, and now he's getting trained to be an actual HVAC technician. He already has the first level. Now he's training to have the second level, because obviously you have the back of house, you have all the equipment within a hospital, and as such. We have Shaquille that would have come in also as a porter, and he would have been the first trained Caymanian CSSD technician that we would have trained him as well. He's since left for a great opportunity, but at the end of the day, if you stay within the Cayman Islands and the medical fraternity, then we've done our job, right? We've helped train you to give you a career. So even when I was back in tourism, it wasn't about persons staying within the organization. It was about training great young Caymanian staff that could then go be great in other industries. And what typically happens is, as they become managers and executives, they'll come back, or you now have great Caymanians in other areas of the Cayman Islands that Cayman benefits, and that's what we really care about. So we've been doing that throughout our time here at Health City as well, and we're just really excited to see some of those students that we saw 13, 14, 15, that we're seeing them take medical pathways and coming back to us at 18, 19, 20, 21. So it's a long tail approach, because as Dr. Shetty will state, from a medical personnel perspective and supply, within 5 to 10 years, we're going to have shortages in a lot of areas of expertise. So we really need to start building that capability within the Caribbean as well as within the Cayman Islands itself, so that 15, 20 years from now, the percentage of staff overall at Health City will be 50%, then 60%, then 70%. But you have to have that vision, and you have to put in the building blocks in order to actually get there. And
Right.
we have become certified. I don't have it in front of me, but it's the Anesthesia Society of the US. And we've actually gotten certified to be able to give courses, to have certified in different areas, phlebotomy, for instance. And with that certification from Health City, obviously you would have to satisfy immigration rules in the US, but it is recognized in the US, and you would be able to go to the US and be a phlebotomist based on that certification that you're getting at Health City. So we're building all of these programs now to ensure that we can give as many opportunities as possible.
Fantastic. Wow. That's quite impressive. So Ms. Morna is here. She says, congratulations. Terencia also says, congrats to Lani. Sherry Ann sends her congratulations as well. Tracy says, that's awesome. Congrats. Sandra Ebanks joining us. She says, congratulations, Lani. And of course, Scott, who's here every morning, says, good morning, Cayman. So again, folks, if you're just tuning into the program, we have a little bit of time left with our guests this morning, and they're here to tell us all about the Founders Award, which they had their first one last month in the month of May. And Lanicia McLaughlin hails from East End, and her mommy is watching the program, as well as a lot of other East Enders. Giovanni just says, congrats, Lani, as well. Very, very proud of her. She is the first ever recipient. So there she is receiving her Caymanite Award and her certificate. Now, Shamari, can you tell us a little bit about what goes with this award? She got the Caymanite, what would we call it? Placard that she can actually put on her desk. She can keep that at home. She's got a certificate. Anything else? Did she get a free vacation anywhere? What comes with the Founders Award?
Yep. So we're still working on that other package.
Yes.
That Lani will be able to see. I won't say exactly what it is.
Okay.
She can share once she gets it if she wishes. But definitely they're working on a package that Lani will see very, very shortly, and she can come back on and share whether or not she wishes to share the additional benefit that you get.
People might want to share in the winnings there, Lani, so you gotta be careful. They might want to come in your suitcase and go on vacation with you.
Sure. The more the merrier.
So folks, let's talk about the Emergency Room and Urgent Care Center. And I noticed that we have almost 200 people now in the live stream. And I know you guys are waiting because you've already received my WhatsApp alert to your WhatsApp news group about a bit of breaking news. We're going to bring it to you as soon as our guests have completed their segment this morning. But I want to tell you a little bit about their emergency room, because this ties into the news that you will be hearing here shortly. But folks, this is the Emergency Room and Care Center at Health City. And this really is the gateway to any hospital and acts as an interface between outpatient and inpatient admissions. So as I said earlier, emergencies, medical emergencies are some of the most stressful things that we can go through. I mean, trust me, I've been through a few. And looking back on it, they were not really that much of an emergency, but in the moment, even if your child has the last time I was in the ER, it was because my daughter, her tooth went through her lip. And I was just like, oh my God, how does this even happen? In the moment, that was an emergency because I didn't know how to deal with it. I didn't know what was required. And having calm, cool, collected professionals in the ER facilities, folks, can really help you understand, what's going on, give you the necessary medical assistance that is needed as quickly as possible. And when you're dealing with, elderly people or children or anyone really, but especially the elderly and children, it can heighten the stress that comes with the situation even more. So the ER at Health City actually has 6 beds. 2 have resuscitation beds, and 4 acute care beds with an attached minor operation theater. So the ER is situated on the ground floor with direct access to the resuscitation bay for ambulance arrivals, and is manned by 5 consultant physicians, 4 registrars, and trained staff. Health City ER is equipped with state-of-the-art equipment for a wide range of patients with acute emergencies for initial evaluation, resuscitation, treatment, investigation, stabilization, monitoring, and disposition. It's equipped with cardiac monitors, defibrillators, mechanical ventilators, transport ventilators, syringe pumps, oxygen therapy unit, suction machines, and airway management devices, along with difficult airway management devices. So all sorts of monitors, from the ETCO2 monitor, ABG machine, and portable ultrasound machine. So folks, all of that is fancy terminology to mean that their healthcare is really equipped, their ER center is really equipped to provide you with all of the major components of any emergency that you may have. So whether it's, related to breathing, they've got all the ventilation equipment. If it's heart, of course, they've got all the cardiac monitoring and those types of things as well. They can stabilize you, they can treat you, they can resuscitate you if necessary. If you've, is it called Code Blue, Shamari? So if you
yes,
if you Code Blue, they can bring you back, because all of that equipment is right there in the emergency room. And not just the equipment, folks, but you've got the entire department backed by the surgical and medical intensive care units for your continued care, and being manned by the consultant physicians, 5 of them, and 4 registrars and trained staff. And once again, we are here to celebrate with Lanny McLaughlin, one of her own, who is the manager for the referrals and emergencies, and she helps the rest of the staff to ensure that everything in terms of the intake of patients and all the coordination that is required, both locally and internationally, happens without a hitch. So she is the winner of the inaugural Health City Chairman's Award. And congratulations to Lanny. She has been with the organization since they opened their doors back in 2014, which they are now celebrating. This is a year-long celebration of 8 years at Health City. And folks, let's not forget that as Health City continues to grow, they have, we talked about the oncology daycare suite unit recently, and also their facility at Cayman Bay. So let's just take a minute to review the facility at Cayman Bay.
For over 7 years, Health City Cayman Islands has provided life-changing and life-saving medical care for the people of the Cayman Islands at our hospital in East End. During this time, we have become an integral part of the community, and now focused on connectivity and collaboration. Our vision is to make an even greater impact on the quality of healthcare for the people of our islands. In summer 2022, we will open a 70,000 square foot state-of-the-art hospital built on 3 acres of land at the southern end of Cayman Bay, bringing much-needed specialized medical services closer to where people live, work, and play. Cayman Bay, located at the heart of 7 Mile Beach, is home to schools, businesses, shops, restaurants, and entertainment. And now, Health City Cayman Bay, a $100 million world-class hospital. Health City Cayman Bay will include an advanced cancer care unit, offering bone marrow transplantation and the latest cancer treatment technology. It will contain a modern neonatal intensive care unit, emergency and critical care, purpose-designed operating rooms for surgical specialties such as cardiology, neurology, and orthopedics, and robotic operating systems. A master plan for improved health care for the people of the Cayman Islands. Ready to meet the needs of our patients here and now, we have already established a footprint in Cayman Bay with the opening of our clinic. Offering short wait times, extended opening hours, including evenings and weekends, and the ability to see our world-class doctors closer to where our patients live and work. The clinic has bright, comfortable waiting areas and treatment rooms, friendly staff, expert care, lab services, and diagnostics. Reflecting our operating philosophy of patient-centered care, convenient access to our specialist doctors allows our patients to focus on getting better rather than getting to appointments. With our unwavering commitment to our community and the thousands of patients who trust us to care for them, we look forward to building healthier communities in a place where life unfolds, blossoms, and thrives. Welcome to Health City, Camana Bay.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Lots going on. We do have, again, lots of people joining in. So Giovanni sending her congratulations. Good morning to Miss Morna. Miss Bonnie is also here saying congrats to Lani. Wee Wee says congrats, God's richest blessings, and keep doing the good work. Evelyn sends her congratulatory messages as well. Folks, don't forget, if you're listening to the program, you can always call in and congratulate Lani. 936-2626 is the telephone number. Emma is joining us. Good morning to you, Emma. Olivia also sending, she says, congrats to my awesome niece. Hey, Auntie sending some congratulations there. Juanita is here sending her congratulatory messages. And another Emma, we got more than one Emma, I think, tuned in this morning. Tracy says it's so great to see Cayman investing in providing these health services to the island. This will allow local support and alleviate the cost of overseas expenses in immediate emergency response services. Of course, Shamari, Tracy hits the nail on the head that one of the stresses of being, having to get emergency healthcare, any sort of healthcare, is definitely the associated costs. And this is one of the things that Health City is able to do, is offer world-class services at a very competitive price.
And as well as if you need, for instance, an air ambulance, quality of life thereafter. Right? If prior to Health City being here, you actually need airlifted, it'll take you anywhere from, on the quickest, 8 hours to 14 hours to be able to get an air ambulance here, get on an air ambulance, get you to where you're needed. And speaking to our doctors, time matters, right?
Yes,
and the quicker
absolutely.
you're able to have interventions, either, the percentage of persons you're able to save goes up, as well as the quality of life thereafter if you're able to get in quickly, whether it's a stroke and or a heart attack. Obviously, the quality of life is better after it as well. So that's the first instance. But when you look at the cost, just for air ambulance, for instance, it's going to run you anywhere from 20 to 25,000. The majority of our procedures would be less than that, or a little bit more than the air ambulance cost in and of itself. So just think about those cost savings for insurance companies and or the government, or otherwise. That definitely plays into it. But even more importantly is saving lives, as well as the quality of life, by being able to administer the procedure or surgery that's needed in a quick and timely manner. And just to mention, Sandy, the great thing about Lani is that she's the type of person that figures it out, right? We had the pandemic, and unfortunately, the first case of COVID in the Cayman Islands was a gentleman off a cruise ship presented as a cardiac issue, and unfortunately had COVID, and later became deceased. Now, if you can recall, rewind 2 years ago, when we really didn't have a lot of understanding about COVID, and then obviously this was the first death. The person who would have done the research in order to have the conversations with the CMO to outline the protocol that we thought should be in place in that scenario was Lani. And the CMO agreed, and then we were able to deal with that situation based on Lani's research, working with a few other individuals at Health City as well. So that's just a small example of when people would have been terrified of this disease, especially with somebody being deceased. Lani was once again run into that fire and actually understood what needed to occur, got it approved from the CMO, who at that point in time, they wouldn't have had those protocols either. Obviously, nobody at that time really expected a pandemic such as this, or had a scenario with a death. And we were able to deal with that appropriately. So that just, once again, shows you the type of individual we have in Lani, and the fact she's a problem solver, and we listen to what she has to say. And at times we'll have to debate, but definitely listens to what she has to say implement the best care, always keeping the patient at the center.
Right. So Tanisha says, great. Congratulations. Jonathan says the Cayman Bay location is a godsend because gas is like $1 a teaspoon. So, Jonathan. So for those living out in the Western District, West Bay and West Bay Road, that's a facility that will serve that community well. We do have someone on WhatsApp also sending congratulatory messages. So this person says that I'm so happy for Lani. She is an amazing person. So congratulations again. Matisa says congrats to my sister. She always goes above and beyond. We're always treated like royalty whenever we have to visit there. So beautiful, absolutely beautiful. So everybody in East End and beyond, every single Caymanian should be extremely proud of Lani for, again, receiving this Founders Award. She's the first person, and I'm sure that every year going forward, we will be more than pleased to hear more about who the recipients are. So the bar has been set high, folks. Lani McLaughlin got it the first year, so you guys know for the subsequent years, it'll be very, very interesting to see who is the recipient of the award. Ms. Sonia, good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. Shamari, is there anything else this morning in relation to this award or just how wonderful the staff is at Health City that we should know about?
No, just that, we have great people at Health City. And I remember once speaking to Dr. Shetty and just asking him and saying, how are you able to get such great professionals, people who actually align with your ethos? And he said to me, Shamar, you're doing God's work. Good people will find you. I never have to find good people. You're in the right place at the right time. Good people will find you. And if they actually believe what you believe, then they'll always stay. So, we love the fact that Lani found us as well at the beginning. And even though there would have been one or two movements within her career, I think she's found her niche and the area that she actually loves and gives the most value to the organization and to the patients that she sees. She loves her job. The people who come in contact with her love dealing with Lani. And I just want to tell Lani, once again, we're proud of her and we thank her for all her contributions in the past and what she will give in the future. And even more so when we move forward and we have our new hospital. So first, the radiotherapy is going to come before the end of this year, which is that last major gap in cancer care. And then a year from then, we'll have the full-on fledged hospital with emergency wing closer to everybody in town, as well as for those patients coming in from cruise ships and as well as from the airport. And we look forward to Lani expanding her team to be able to cover both areas of both Cayman Bay and obviously West Bay and Georgetown, as well as what we're doing up east. And thank you, Lani. Continue to do the great work, and it's a pleasure to work with you at Health City.
Lani, any final words to maybe some young person is in there listening to the program this morning? What would you say to encourage them if they're interested? And the amazing thing about the world of medicine, it's not just the doctors and the nurses and the technical staff on that end. You need experts in customer service. You need experts in patient management. You need marketing experts. I mean, there's so much more that is required to support a healthcare facility the size of Health City. And so you're one of those people who, is in on the ground. What would you tell young people who might be thinking of a career within the medical profession, which is, there's so many options?
I would love for young Caymanians to join us. I love to teach. The doctors love to teach. If you're interested in learning, we're here to help you. If you'd like to come in, please, our department, my department alone is expanding. Like Shamari says, the Cayman Bay emergency is coming within a year. I need to expand and bring up a new team and train them because we need to be everywhere. So please do put in your resume. Please come. We do love to see our Caymanians grow and train them and move them on to different departments. If you come, you find out it might not be my department. You might be interested in customer service. You might be interested in the outpatient clinic. So it's different areas for you. There is something for everyone.
Yes. Sounds like, Shamari, you need to be planning a health fair really soon.
Yeah. So the great news is that throughout the hospital we get a lot of young Caymanians coming in, but now that we're expanding departments such as Lanny's, we need to be a little bit more specific. So we'll definitely plan another health fair. We've done it in the Eastern districts, obviously, because we want to get some more great Eastenders that live up that area to come and work with us as well. However, we also have great staff that even live in West Bay that make that trek every day to come to East End. So that shouldn't be an issue, but we'll definitely plan for that in the future as well.
All right, beautiful. So Tracy says, with respect to services, what are the costs associated if you don't have healthcare? Is it competitive with the U.S.? And I only ask for those unemployed and the aging community. So, Shamari, if someone wants to have a consultation, of course we know they can call the main number, which is 640-4040, or simply email info@healthcity.ky, and they will put you in contact, Tracy, or anyone with the correct intake professional who can answer those types of questions for them.
Definitely. And then she's talking about costs in the US. We're a quarter of the costs in the US, but luckily in the Cayman Islands, the majority of people have insurance. But for those that don't, then we'll definitely have to have a conversation to see how we can work that out as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, Sonia, good morning to you. And Nicholas says, good morning. Have a fantastic day. So Shamari and Lani, we know you guys are very, very busy people. Enjoy the rest of your day. And again, Lani, congratulations on being the first ever recipient of this award. Fantastic.
Thank you.
All right, folks.
Thanks, Sandy. See you next week.
Yes, Lanicia McLaughlin and Shamari Scott joining us from Health City. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We do have some breaking news for you guys this morning, which we're going to get into here in just a second. I know a lot of you are tuned in to hear what this is all about, so please keep it locked. Bobo 89.1 listeners, thank you guys always for tuning into the program. And of course, everybody else is listening on Facebook and YouTube. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
Recover Personal Injury Attorneys, helping injured people get what they deserve. Did you know that insurance companies have lawyers that represent their interests? Before signing and accepting any settlement, know your rights. Call us today for a free consultation at 924-9999. That's 924-9999. Recover. Your personal injury attorneys are on standby to assist.
Are you tired of overpaying for TV services, can't figure out VPNs, and constantly missing your favorite TV shows? No access to the good stuff on streaming services? The frustration is real, but it doesn't have to be. Contact Roku, Cayman's streaming pros. We put you back in the driver's seat right in front of your TV. Call 926-1213 or message WhatsApp TV. Roku is not a TV service provider. Terms and conditions may apply.
Hey, look here, you looking for something to do? Are you looking for something to do with friends and family? How about a private boat trip? Enjoy popular locations like Stingray City, Starfish Point, Rum Point, or Caibo on a trip with WG Charters. Private boating is only $400 CI or $500 US. Take him or her out on an evening date and cruise around the North Sound for that beautiful sunset or romantic night cruise for only $300. Visit WGCharters.com or look for WG Charters on Facebook, Instagram, or WhatsApp 345-923-1741. WG Charters. My choice.
All right, folks, good morning and welcome back to the program. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Kadu is saying congrats. He's joining us this morning. Kenneth Bryan, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, says, great job, Shamari, and good morning to CMR. So good morning, Minister. So I have a bit of sad news. I hate always being the bearer of bad news, but that's my job in part, is to give you all of the news. And then, of course, you dissect it and do with it what you will. So I mentioned earlier this morning that East End was a very, very busy day yesterday. It was just unbelievable, the amount of things that were happening in the district. We had, of course, East End is a little sleepy town, folks. If you don't know much about East End, normally not a whole lot goes on there. But yes, they had a fire in the morning at a home. There was some other, firearm response unit incident that was going on as well. And a car was towed away in relation to an arrest that was made, I think, a couple days ago, potential drug bust situation. And then in addition to that, we had someone who went missing who was out snorkeling. Now, originally we were hearing that this person was a teen. Now we have confirmation that it's actually a 54-year-old man who went snorkeling, and we got the initial message yesterday after 4 o'clock that he was rescue efforts were underway because he was out snorkeling and had somehow disappeared right off of the Wyndham there in East End. And we now have confirmation. Let me just tell you that probably around 6. So the initial message came in around 5:23 or 5:15 that they were looking for someone. And then it went from that to, efforts are continuing. The RCIPS, as well as the Cayman Islands Coast Guard, were involved in trying to, undertake this rescue. And the helicopter was deployed. They were utilizing all of the available services. So at least by 6:30, we knew that the rescue team was still searching for him. And the helicopter was also on the scene at that time. So it was a search and rescue effort that started shortly after 5 o'clock. And unfortunately, this person, I understand, was out, a tourist out on a dive boat, and his body has now been found this morning. So again, by 6:52 this morning, we had received confirmation from our sources in East End that the police siren was racing through East End. And apparently this is what it was in relation to. Shortly after that, by 7:17, we received confirmation that the body had been found. Now, for some reason, there was a little bit of confusion. People were saying it was a missing boy. Multiple sources said that, missing teen, missing boy. So I don't know if this particular individual is petite or why people were thinking it was a boy, but it's actually my understanding now known to be a 54-year-old man. So our condolences, of course, go out to his family. It must be really quite a horrible thing, folks, to go on holiday, go on vacation, and not make it back. So good morning to Debbie. So of course we wish to express our condolences to his family. As our borders reopen, more and more these things will now happen. We kind of took a break, obviously, during COVID because we didn't really have that many tourists. It raises so many questions about safety on boats and at facilities and so on. But things happen when you're in the water, folks. Accidents happen. Sometimes a person will have a cardiac event in the water. They'll get a leg cramp or currents that they're not expecting. I think a lot of people come here, they want to snorkel and enjoy our beautiful water, but sometimes they don't always recognize the dangers of the ocean and how powerful the ocean can be. So we don't know in this instance what, if any of those particular things played a role. But what I will say is that it's really, really important for anyone who's on a boat, boating personnel and so on, to, number one, be CPR certified in case you need to pull someone out of the water. I think all boats should have AED equipment, defibrillators in case they need to administer sort of that initial assistance until the first responders and the EMT staff can actually get on the scene. And naturally, if you're in East End, one of the medical facilities that is available to you would be Health City, because that is, right there in the district of East End, and people can be taken there, as we heard earlier, to their emergency room for a number of acute care options. So very sad day today. I think we've already had, was there another drowning just last week? I feel like we've had a few already in the last couple months since our borders have reopened. We were telling you guys, for example, about the young child at the Ritz Water Park who ran into some sort of the child actually had some sort of anaphylactic response. So in other words, they ate something that they were allergic to and then passed out in the water. And it only takes a split second for a child to drown. In fact, do you know that you can drown? There's something called dry drowning. I don't know how much you guys know about this, but it doesn't really take much water, because people are like, oh, the water park, that's not a big deal. like who drowns in a water park, but there is something called dry drowning, which literally means that you need like just the smallest amount of water to go through your nose and your mouth, and it causes a spasm in the airway, and you can actually drown in that way. And a lot of children, sometimes it's referred to as secondary drowning. It even happens to them in the bathtub. So they have, they take in water. You're not thinking, oh, my kid is going to drown because they're in a little bit of water in the bathtub. And that's exactly what happens. So it's the terms that are normally used to describe this is either dry drowning or secondary drowning. And yeah, it is a thing. And it's pretty rare, but it does account, especially in children, for some of the drownings that you need to be able to recognize the signs of this as well. So folks, especially with children, you've got to keep an eye on them when they're around water, even if they know how to swim. Somebody was sharing an article with me. I cannot remember which I can't remember if it was, oh gosh, somebody sent this to me just the other day, about a young kid who was just learning how to swim. And I'm going to see if I can find it. And I think this is somewhere in the States. But anyway, the young kid was just learning how to swim and they drowned. And, it's every parent's worst nightmare for anything like this to happen to your child. And when you think, you're being responsible as a parent, you're trying to teach your kid, water safety and so forth. And then for something like that to happen, it's really, really heartbreaking. So we do live around water, a lot of swimming pools. Obviously, we're an island, so we're surrounded by the ocean. Kids love to go in the water, love to go around boats. Some kids have a fear of the water, other kids do not. And you just got to make sure that you give your children the opportunity to learn how to swim properly. I mean, oh God, I've been fighting with Gigi, to get her to learn how to swim. And it's an uphill battle, because she loves the water and she wants to be in it. But then when it comes to putting in the work and actually learning how to swim properly, sometimes there's a disconnect there. And I have to force her. We do swimming lessons, folks. And I force her all the time to get in the water and to swim, whether she wants to or not. It's not, learning how to swim for me is not optional, because I think there are a lot of adults in this community who never had the opportunity. You hear these crazy stories about, oh, my dad just threw me in the water and that was it, sink or swim. Well, not every parent did that. And I must tell you that there are a lot of adults in this community who do not know how to swim. So we were very, very saddened this morning to hear of another situation. This was actually a little kid in Georgia, a 4-year-old boy who was found unresponsive in a swimming pool. But, we don't have to even look at overseas cases. We've had cases right here. There was the case where the grandmother and the child both drowned in a swimming pool. So, folks, there are a number of resources out there to teach people how to swim. I know that private swimming lessons can be a little bit on the pricey side if you have children, but did you know that the YMCA actually has an intense swimming program this summer? So check them out. I don't know if they have any spots left, because it is limited in terms of, availability, but they do have a number of programs, number of summer camps that are available to children. And one of those is a Learn to Swim summer camp. They are also doing CPR, AED, and first aid, which they have teen training, so for your teenagers, and then they also have the adult training. And one thing with the YMCA is that their programs are extremely affordable. So the one for teens is only $50, and the one for adults is only $75. And when you're thinking about this is a skill set that could help save somebody's life, save the life of your loved ones, believe me when I tell you it is worth $75 to be able to do that. So they have both beginner and non-swimmer classes. So the non-swimmer is ages 4 to 6. You can check that out. They have an adult beginner swim intensive as well. And the intensive means that you go for a duration of time where you're literally in the pool every single day for 30 minutes. So you force yourself, it becomes a part of your daily routine, and you learn to swim by, just repetitiveness, continually being in the pool. So this is really, really fantastic. And they actually have the adult session starting on July the 11th through August 26th for the intensive. And there's also one available for the children as well. So you're never too old to learn how to swim, and you're never too young to learn how to swim. There are amazing videos of babies who over the years have learned how to swim before they can really even walk. And when I say learn how to swim, they're like in the water. They know how to flip themselves over. They know how to crawl out of the water if they get into any trouble. They know how to go for the ledge of like swimming pools and stuff like that. So life-saving things, folks, are available. So good morning to Miss Sue. She says it's so sad to hear of a person. So again, just a point of clarification. Initially, people were saying it was a teenager. It turns out it is a 54-year-old man who has unfortunately succumbed to some sort of difficulty in the water, and his body was recovered this morning. So very, very unfortunate situation. Okay. All right. Yeah. So no. So someone is saying, is it 2 people in East End? No, I think it's 1. And there was some initial confusion about the age of the individual. So I think that's what has been going on. Just check in messages, because of course you know that we receive information as and when it's breaking. So the Coast Guard, RCIPS, and so forth were on the scene yesterday trying to locate this individual, and now we know that he has been found along Queens Highway in East End on the shoreline, unconscious and not breathing and not responding. And again, both the Coast Guard, the RCIPS, and EMS are on the scene this morning. So I see someone calling my personal number. If you wish to call the program, that number is 936-2626. So that's the number to call. All right, folks. Miss Sue says some of the older people who go out snorkeling don't realize what can happen to their heart. They didn't get it checked out before they come here. Yeah, it's just one of those things. You can have a cardiac episode at any point in time. Let's be very, very clear. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Even the young lady, the 84-year-old lady, Ms. Parchment, that was driving weekend before last, that crashed there in Animal House parking lot. From eyewitnesses at the scene, it seems like she had some sort of, I don't know if it was cardiac or a stroke, but she definitely had something that made her pass out and lose control of the vehicle. And that's what happened. And she crashed it's just spectacularly in terms of how it happened, because it like spun the car around and everything. And unfortunately, she has succumbed to her injuries late last week. So these things happen. There've been a number of accidents, vehicular accidents in Cayman, that have been caused as a result of someone having a stroke or heart attack as they're driving. So it's not entirely unheard of, that you can be behind the wheel of a vehicle and that will happen. So again, Miss Sonia, we have confirmation that's a 55-year-old. So yeah, just last week, another man died who was 50. This gentleman's 54. I think the one from last week was 55. And in fact, the interesting thing about that case is his niece had posted something on social media asking people to come forward if they saw anything. And there were a number of people who sent us messages in relation to what they had seen and what they had observed. We got footage of the boat, as they were coming in with him. And again, this made me think, what is it on the boat? Because if you're out on a boat and something happens, those couple minutes can be a matter of life and death. So how well equipped are boat personnel? How trained are they to offer any degree of assistance? What equipment do they have on board? And more importantly, do they know how to use the equipment? So as they were bringing this person inshore, we received footage of that situation. And yes. So yeah, you've got to make sure that if you're a tour operator, your boat operator, that your staff are properly trained on how to handle emergencies, because of course there's always the heightened risk of you being out on the water and something happening. You need to be able to provide some degree of assistance, even if it's just to try to get someone breathing until you can get back in, and the EMT or EMS staff can meet you at the shoreline. So yes, 2 deaths and basically 2 weeks that are at least happened in or around the water. Lady Anonymous says dry drowning can also be caused by the person's airway locking up. It can happen to people who suffer with asthma. No water is found in the lungs. I think that it doesn't actually take a lot of water for that to happen, as you say. Even when people have fluid on the lungs and stuff like that, people think, oh my gosh, did they just like pour 5 gallons of fluid in their lungs? And it's like, no, it doesn't take very much actually for you to have respiratory or airway issues because of that. So Aliano says the island needs a small lifeguard force, small 2-man RHIB equipped team. Let's stop brushing the issue aside before the wrong person come here and we develop a reputation we can't shake. Yeah, we do lose people. We do lose people in and around the water all the time. So Sue says, very sad, but 50s is not aged. 50-year-old is not elderly. Because I think Sonia was saying it's an elderly person. Yeah, 54. Child 54 is middle age these days. What you talking about, elderly? Another commenter sending us a message says, this incident happened yesterday. This is in relation to the drug situation. They said the guy with the drug bust is from Bodden Town in his mid-20s. They provide his name. We won't name him yet. We'll find out some more about that. And he was chasing a female with a gun, and the small grocery shop has footage of the incident. Plus, they found him with cocaine in his possession. And before he went to East End, he robbed a car wash guy gunpoint without mask and stole $3,000 cash from him. The victim is afraid to come forward. What? $3,000 in cash? Well, tell the victim to come forward. That will give him at least 10 years in jail, as we now know. Armed robbery. That's unfortunate. I hope the victim does come forward, because someone like that needs to be put in jail for a really long time. A hot mess. Okay, so just checking on some additional messages. All right, let's take this opportunity, folks, to go ahead and play our news segment with Misha. And I'll take that opportunity on my end to check some messages and see what else is going on. Scammers all over the place, honey child. We'll be talking about some of them this morning.
Hello and welcome to CMR Daily Buzz. I'm Misha Allinger and thank you for joining us. Officers responded to a report of an armed robbery on Martin Drive, Georgetown, shortly after 4 a.m. on Monday, 20th June. The man brandished a firearm, demanded cash from the victim, and fled the location. No shots were fired during the incident and no injuries were reported. The suspect was wearing a long-sleeved gray shirt, a gray hat, and had his face covered. The matter is currently under investigation, and anyone who may have seen the incident or have any other information is encouraged to contact Georgetown CID at 949-4222. An elderly woman aged 84, Phyllis Parchment, that was involved in a collision on 11th June in Georgetown succumbed to her injuries on 16 June at the hospital. Officers responded to a collision at the Butterfield roundabout shortly before 3:40 p.m. involving a gray Toyota Vitz and a white Honda CRV-X. Emergency services attended the location and Ms. Parchment was hospitalized. The driver of the Toyota was uninjured, while the passenger complained of pain and sought medical attention. The collision is currently under investigation, and police are encouraging anyone who may have witnessed the incident to contact the Georgetown Police Station at 949-4222 or the Traffic and Roads Policing Unit at 649-6254. A 30-year-old woman from Georgetown was arrested following a hit and run on Sunday, 19th June. Police and other emergency services were dispatched to a report of a two-vehicle collision involving a motorcycle and a motorcar that took place on Crew Road just before 9:30 p.m. The woman that was involved reportedly fled the location following the collision. A search was conducted to find the Georgetown woman, and she was later arrested and bailed, pending further investigation. Witnesses are encouraged to provide information by calling the Georgetown Police Station at 949-4222 or the Traffic and Roads Policing Unit at 649-6254. Anonymous tips can be provided directly to the RCIPS via the confidential tip line on 949-7777 or their website rcips.ky. RCIPS reported rise in the number of sextortion cases over the last 2 months. Cases which are usually linked to the sharing of indecent images on social media platforms such as Facebook. RCIPS is advising against sharing indecent images of themselves online and expressed that it is out of their control once the images are shared on the internet. Victims of such digital crimes are advised not to pay a ransom and to delete all accounts linked to the perpetrator. For more information on digital crime, contact rcipsdfh@rcips.ky. The interim chief medical officer, Dr. Ottilia Newton, threatened to resign her post last week after some heated discussions with the Minister of Tourism and Transport along with Parliamentary Secretary Dwayne Seymour during a caucus meeting on Tuesday, June 14th. CMR understands the government will be announcing some amendments shortly that continue to include a phased approach. However, some MPs are advocating a complete lifting of all restrictions for everyone, including both vaccinated and unvaccinated people, while the CMO is not in the favor of this position. This difference of opinion has led to some heated moments with the CMO in recent times. The treatment that the CMO received during the last meeting on Tuesday prompted her to speak with the governor and express her desire to tender her resignation. The Ministry of Border Control and Labour is advising recipients of the Displaced Tourism Employees Stipend Program that the final payment will be issued on Thursday, 23rd June 2022. For more information, call 649-6932 or email stipend@gov.ky. The Margaritaville Beach Resort Grand Cayman is now up for sale. David Griffin and Ian Gao of FTI Consulting Cayman Limited have been appointed receivers for the secured charge holder. The hotel has had numerous challenges over the last few years, which included being sued for a hefty electricity bill, including being investigated for unpaid pensions for employees in 2020. FTI Consulting will immediately launch a process to sell the resort. Crooks siblings are representing the Cayman Islands at the FINA World Championships. Cayman's top swimmers and siblings, Jordan Crooks and Jillian Crooks, are both competing at the FINA Long Course World Championships, currently underway in Budapest, Hungary, from 18 June to 4th July. CIASA Technical Director and Head Coach Jackie Pellerin is optimistic and has high hopes for Jordan's and Jillian's swimming performance. Let's hear from Kevin Watler for updates on Cayman's weather.
Hello Cayman, I'm Kevin Watler and this is your CMR weather update. It's brought to you by WG Charters. This morning, sunrise at 5:48. The day starts off cloudy. It heats up to the high 80s, winds east-northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and the sun set at 7:06. Tonight, a few clouds from time to time, winds northeast at 10 to 20 miles per hour, and the temperature falls to the low 80s. High tides at 4:19 a.m. and 5:37 p.m., low tides at 10:54 a.m. and 11:37 p.m. Looking forward, similar conditions are expected. Be sure to stay hydrated and limit too much direct sun exposure if you can. CMR weather updates are brought to you by WG Charters. They offer private boat trips for a great price. so we encourage you to support them. Have a beautiful day.
Thank you, Kevin, for those updates. In regional news, Jamaica can now conduct testing for the monkeypox virus following a regional training in laboratory detection and diagnosis of the viral condition. This is arranged by the country's public health lab in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization. Chief Medical Officer Dr. Jacqueline Bissessor McKenzie said the workshop is part of the public health system's preparedness and response activities in the case of an outbreak. In international news, Hong Kong's jumbo floating restaurant capsized on the South China Sea on 19 June, a week after leaving the city for an unannounced destination. The restaurant was a popular tourist attraction that welcomed celebrities and politicians, including Tom Cruise and Queen Elizabeth II. CMR is inviting businesses to sponsor our Hurricane Special Edition with host Kevin Watler. Reach out to CMR's sales team today to find out more and secure your spot to promote your business on CMR platforms. For more in-depth news and headlines, please visit our website, caymanmallroad.com. Tune in to The Cold Hard Truth with Sandy Hill, Monday to Friday at 7:30 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, and Radio Bobo 89.1 FM. Thank you for tuning in to CMR Daily Buzz. I'm Misha Allinger. Please do not drink and drive, and stay safe.
All right, folks, welcome back to the program. Again, big shout out and thanks to Misha and Kevin, who bring you your news and weather updates every single day so that you can keep informed with the latest. And of course, by the time they record that, there's always something else that has happened, in terms of breaking news. So we ensure that we bring that information to you as quickly as we can. So again, this morning, we are sad to announce that a gentleman aged 54 years old, our sources have said, has been located off of Barefoot Beach on Queens Highway after he went missing yesterday afternoon when he was actually snorkeling. And now, unfortunately, his body was found this morning. So again, our condolences to his family members. Very, very sad. All right, folks, 936-2626 is the telephone number if you wish to call us. And, the beauty of this platform, folks, is there's so many different ways that you can reach us, including you can call on the straight line. You can call via WhatsApp. You could technically call on any Signal, any sort of platform that you can use through your phone, because we have the phone directly connected to the board, and you can send voice notes and so on. So we do have a voice note someone sent us that they wanted us to share in relation to the traffic accidents yesterday. And I think they may be sending another voice note as well. Let me just see. So yes, you can send in your voice notes. Like sometimes you have a thought about something and it's after the show and you still want to share your thoughts with us. You can, definitely feel free to do so. So let us, I'm going to cue this one up so that you guys can have a listen to this particular voice note. And then we're going to talk about yesterday, why there were so many accidents on the roadway. It's the most bizarre thing that I've seen in a minute. But it seems like yesterday we did have an unusual amount of accidents. And we were here on this show as several of them were happening. And speaking of accidents, there's just one that just happened by the roundabout there by Chrisley Tomlinson. Oh my gosh, it's like really already? But yesterday it was off the chain crazy. I counted at least 4 to 5 accidents yesterday. So this one this morning, folks, has just happened. There it is. Ambulance on the scene. Looks like at least 2 vehicles involved. And yesterday it started relatively early in the morning, and it was just accident after accident. So we're going to talk about some of those here in a second. And then we're going to talk about a bar in Georgetown, which seems to be having a lot going on over the last couple of days. But here is the first voice note from one of our listeners to the program who wanted to share her opinion on what's happening on Cayman's roads.
note based on your I would like to make a voice note based on your post that you have on Cayman Road with an accident that just happened 5 hours ago. What happens with these people when they see the traffic too long on Crew Road? They go up to the end of the cones, make a swing U-turn. So the cars that coming down around that corner where they billing by the PPM office, sometimes when they make that swing there, the people that are coming from the other direction don't see them, and these accidents will take place. They need to car those cones all the way further out that the people them cannot make no U-turn and turn back to go up through by Housay gas station and go back on Linford Pearson Highway to get up by the roundabout. That is what happened with this accident here, you know. I can tell you. This is bad. This is ridiculous. In Cayman, the accident rates are ridiculous. I'm not saying that that it don't happen to the best of us, you know. But this is ridiculous, man. Oh my God. Anyway, send me an ID. Any ID
So
that says
the rest of the conversation was in relation to something else. But so yes, folks, if you're sending a voice note, make sure it is a dedicated voice note to the issue that you would like to address, as opposed to adding something else onto the voice note. But that caller was referring to, this is the accident now, because like I said, there were multiple accidents yesterday morning. And this particular one is the one that happened on Crew Road. Now, the bizarre thing about this accident, folks, I'm going to try to pull it up on the screen so you guys can see it, is that it happened. And again, a lot of people are kind of shaking their head like, wow, how did this actually happen again? Well, I think the caller makes a fair point that they have, and I'm guessing that this is NRA, have put a number of cones there to discourage people from being able to, turn and confuse the lane. So this is now passing Jose's Esso. So, you're coming around the airport, you're passing Jose's Esso. They want you to decide, and this is fair, early on, whether you're going to take the Linford Pearson bypass or highway, or you're going to go straight on Crew Road. I think the idea, folks, is that for Crew Road to be utilized for traffic on Crew Road. So if you're trying to access like one of the, there's Tropical Gardens, there's people living off of Palmdale, there's Panton Place. There are a number of community, like, just apartment complexes and neighborhoods in the vicinity of Crew Road. So the idea is use that for local traffic. So, there's even a school on Crew Road. There's a Montessori school. And I can tell you that people are always so frustrated trying to pick up kids at that hour because other people are using it to try to, like, they think the traffic on the bypass is going to be too much. So they try to cut through Crew Road. Well, it's not the best idea. And then what ends up happening is people actually abusing and misusing the system. So some time ago, they put up these cones. Let me just show the video here of this particular accident. Like I said, there are multiple accidents yesterday, but in this look at, did you guys see that? To crawl out of the window, I believe that's the driver's side, to get out of his vehicle. And someone actually at one point sent, there was another video or footage of him actually taking a picture of the whole situation. I'm sure he was in such a state of disbelief. The cones are there to try to prevent people from making a U-turn. But the cones only go so far, as that caller pointed out. Now, I know for a fact that this has been an issue for quite some time because the persons, and I forget what that complex is called, where Dee's Beauty Salon is. Remember, at least a year ago, they called us out to say, Sandy, come out to the scene and look at come out after 3 o'clock and look at what these people are doing. A lot of them are parents who are driving. They're in a rush to pick up their kids, but from like 3 o'clock onwards, this is what we're dealing with. And on that particular day, the reason why they called me is there was an altercation that almost came to blows, because what they do is they pull into that where Dee's Beauty Salon is, doing high speed, which, by the way, I think there's like a dance studio or an art studio or something in there for children. And the people in there, like, listen, these people are so reckless with, our lives and the lives of our children. They just fly up in here like they're crazy. And the day that some poor child gets knocked down in the parking lot or worse, then you're going to hear people saying, oh my God, why don't we do something about it? They contacted me because they're like, can we do something about it before this happens? And I thought, wow. And sure enough, I sat there and I made observations and I saw people, running in and out of this apartment complex. They pull in quickly and then they use that for their U-turn. You see, because they don't want to have to decide beforehand, or they really want to take Crew Road. And so although they get in the wrong lane, they then make a U-turn and kind of come back out and around. And it's causing a real problem. So it looks like someone here yesterday was trying to make a U-turn and it didn't quite work out for them. What a mess. So Atlas, good morning. Atlas says, so many accidents in Cayman every day. Are people crashing to claim insurance or damages? So strange. Speaking of that, Atlas, I have a bit of an update. Do you guys remember this story? Give me 1 second. I'm going to tell you the names of the parties because we did the story and a lot of people have said to me, what is the update? What's the latest on this? But this was a story about alleged insurance fraud. Do you guys remember this? And so it was super, super interesting because it's not every day that you see someone being hauled off to court for insurance fraud. And it was a very unusual case, actually. So let me just try to see if I can find it again on the website. We did report on the lawsuit being filed, and I believe it was with Sagicor. Yes. So this was November the 7th of 2021. So men accused of insurance fraud and BMW collision. And so just this weekend, someone was saying to me, Sandy, whatever happened to this case? Can we get an update? And I know you guys like to get updates, and we do our best, certainly, to provide you with those updates if and when they happen. So here's this case. Again, these two young men, it was alleged, Theo Anthony Cummings and Santangelo Martino Bush, he goes by Sandy Bush, are being accused of insurance fraud by Saxon Motor and General Insurance Company Limited for allegedly staging a motor vehicle accident in Georgetown and jointly receiving $15,400 as torturous co-conspirators. So this was a summer court claim. Says that Cummins, who's 28 years old, of 3 possible addresses in West Bay, and Bush, who was 27, of a Bodden Town address, conspired together to have their vehicles collide in the mini roundabout at the intersection of North Sound Road, Dorsey Drive, and Kentville Road in Georgetown on September the 28th of 2017. So Bush was driving a 2007 BMW 320i when he rear-ended Cummings, who was driving a 2005 BMW 320i, same vehicles, basically, just different years, at 9:30 p.m. And both vehicles were insured with Saxon, with collision coverage, and were written off with the result that they each received, Cummings received $7,350 for the loss of his vehicle, and Bush recovered $8,050 for the loss of his. So basically, Saxon sued these two, saying that they had committed insurance fraud, and they had reason to believe that this was the case, and that it was staged and prearranged. And I think one of the reasons is that they actually know for a fact that Cummins has been involved in multiple traffic accidents. So to go to Atlas's point this morning is it seems like some people are doing stuff like this to defraud, allegedly, the insurance companies. Now, in the case of this, I'm going to provide you all with a real-time update because I know, like I said, a lot of you have often wondered whatever happened to that case, and it was such an unusual case. So they have received a judgment against what's the gentleman's name here? Cummings. So they received a default judgment against Cummings for the entire amount. And so as a result of that, they have decided not to pursue because basically, lawsuits will only put you back, especially stuff like this, for your losses, right? So this is what I have received by way of information just on Friday is they had obtained a default judgment against the first defendant, who's Cummings, for the full amount owed. Therefore, there was little or no benefit in taking any further action against Bush, as it would involve going to trial. So Bush did file some sort of a defense, claiming that it was a legitimate traffic accident and he was not party to any fraudulent activity with the first defendant. And so the attorneys for Saxon Insurance have been instructed to, at this point, not take any further action because they have already gotten a default judgment against the first individual for the amount. So, yes, so that's where that matter is, because I think a lot of people are kind of curious as to how that ended. But yeah, it appears that it's not entirely far-fetched, Atlas, that some of these, now I don't think it's a whole lot of people, are out there having these accidents on purpose to be able to make an insurance claim. Now that requires a degree of planning for sure. And I think most of these accidents, from what I can see, is just a lot of careless driving. So Magdalene says what the voice note says, I think, is true. Irvelyn says you can't make a U-turn there. That's why it's blocked off. But I think what's happening is people are turning into places like where Dee's Beauty Salon is to try to circumvent the U-turn system. So Irvelyn says that the NRA needs to put up a no U-turn sign. Yeah, I mean, if people pay attention to signs, I don't know how many of y'all pay attention to signs and respect signage, but I think that that's probably not a bad idea, and we'll pass that on to the NRA. Now, good news is, folks, the NRA is scheduled to come on the program soon, and they will be getting your comments directly. I understand that they're going to be coming on at least once a month to hear your suggestions. There's another suggestion that somebody was giving me the other day, which when the NRA comes on, you guys have to remind me that I had her suggestion so I can remember what it was. But there is one in relation to, what's it called? In relation to West Bay Road and how traffic merges when you're coming off of the Esterly Tibbetts, like you're passing where the old cinema and stuff used to be, and you're going on West Bay Road. There's been a degree of feedback there in terms of that as well. So we do have a caller. I think he was calling into the program. Did I just miss a call? All right, 936-2626 is a telephone number. Miss Sue says learning to drive here needs a lot more lessons than they do before their test. They think it's so easy that they can drive. I don't know. I don't know if that's the issue, or if the issue is just bad drivers who've been driving forever. So yesterday I actually contacted my insurance company and they were like, how long have you been driving? Good morning, caller. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sandra. How are you this morning?
Good, thanks. How are you?
Not bad. I just want to clear the air with something that is going on, and it's been going on for quite some time. And I just want to make it known publicly that everybody's telling me these things from this Eve High Voltage or whatever she named. Okay, but I just want to make one thing clear. Back in, I think it was 2018, 17, in between that area there, she contacted me personally. I don't know if she's aware of or were aware that you were my sister at the time, but she contacted me and she said she wanted to talk about you. And I listened to her. I listened to the conversation, and then the conversation started to get a little bit personal with violence. She know where you live, and she go get man to come do you this, and she go do this, and she go do that. And good evening, go this, and good evening, go that. So we kind of listen her, and then we stop her in our tracks now, because she started to piss me off now, because of course she was calling you names and stuff like that. And like I said, when I come to typing, when I get mad, I in it none at all, you know, I in it none at all. I just start to voice note her, you know, and explain to her how this thing goes. You're a thief. Yeah, you set up the robbery. And I start to tell her the things then. And a lot of people might not understand, and I'm not going to say it on air, certain things, but telling her that then, and then it escalated where then I had words and the level of words that were used. You understand me?
Yeah.
And now every
So
time
basically what you're saying to me is you told her about her BBC.
Yeah, you understand. We can't say certain things, and I'm not going to repeat certain things because I try to change my lifestyle in a way, so I'm not going to say certain things. You understand me? So every time you report on her behalf or whatever going on with her, you notice that I get in the middle of it. Like, really? And she keep going back. Although I got her blocked. I got her blocked in every angle. I don't know how she keep, you know, getting these things published. She had them saved. She had them clipped, you know, whatever. And she keep putting them back out there to the public. And the public keep contacting me. I don't care. I don't care for nobody to contact me about what passed 5 years ago, 2 years ago, 10 years ago. I don't care. You understand me? The bottom line is she committed the crime. She was found guilty. Accept the fact and move on. We really see it to the children them, because this is going to cause the children them to be bullied in school and all that kind of stuff. It's a stigma. You understand me? But such is life, Miss Sandra. Miss Sandra, such is life. You understand me? If I did a crime, you gonna report on me as your sister.
I hope you know. Please, excuse me, Carmely, say it louder for the peanut gallery in the back. Say it again. Because you know I've had to report on family, including a sister before.
But if you have to report on me, I tell you straight, you have to just suck it up. If you commit the crime, you do the time. And if the time is for you to go public on Cayman Mall Road, I saw it have to go. So if I'm me or anybody else, including my children, I saw it have to go. So people need to understand it's a media platform. Some of the things that my sister do, I don't agree with it, but that is her platform. She run her show. She do what she wants to do on her show. I'm not paying her to do it. That's her business. You understand me? At the end of the day, I don't care. So why is it that every time you do a report on this Eve by voltage or high voltage or whatever voltage or whatever she is, that she always bringing me in the play though? Why is it that she's always doing it? And whoever it is that's monitoring her Facebook and keeping track of her Facebook, and whoever it is that she's calling from the prison and are calling her at the prison, and she giving them instructions on what to do, they need to stop it. Because right now it reached to the stage where I will end up going to the police, and I will be going to the police and sitting and talking with them, because I think the prison should have some sort of protocol where if you're a prisoner serving time, you should not be able to be on Facebook and doing these kind of things. And if you have somebody doing it, she needs to get the person to stop putting things on Facebook and scandaling other people and getting people involved in issues that does not concern them, because whatever she did doesn't concern me. It has nothing to do with me. I'm 54 years old, and from the day me born, me never teeth nothing yet. I mean, I want to tell you what my teeth, but me never teeth nothing yet. From the day I born. So therefore, I'm not saying that we're not subject to certain things. I mean, a lot of people tempted in different ways to do different things. But should you get the sentence, just relax now. You're in the prison.
Well, let me ask you a question, caller, because obviously I've seen the messages as well, and she has nothing but time in her hands, unfortunately. So for the next 6 years now, she thinks that she can sit in prison and just torment people on the outside because she doesn't have anything else to do. The judge said to her on Friday, use your time wisely. Does she actually believe that constantly posting about how she's innocent and how she was set up and how they didn't give her a lineup ID and all kind of foolishness, does she think that that's actually going to help her? I don't think that's what the judge had in mind when she said to use your time wisely in jail to better yourself. So that when you come out, you can become a better person.
Well, to be honest with you, Sandra, I was not following our case. And matter of fact, I do follow no court case because I don't have no time for them something. That is not my life. I don't have no time for it. But personally, from my personal views, right now, when the judge said to value her time and put her life in order, I just say this publicly, and whoever listening, is she listening in the prison? Because I'm sure the prison have access where they can listen to Cayman Islands if they so wish. I will say to her right now, the value time that she needs to have is accept Jesus Christ as her personal Lord and Savior. Go down and ask God to forgive her for what she done, whether she was right or wrong or innocent or whatever. Sometimes we go through the trials in life, and these trials carry us through. And this is where we end up. Sometimes we end up in these places for our lives to be waking up. Okay, so she needs to now sit and evaluate herself. Where do I want to go from here? Like you said, it might be another 6 years before she'll be able to be eligible for parole to come out. I don't know how the system works, but in that case, within the 6 years, pick up the Bible, no man. Pick up the Bible and start read and make some changes in your life. Figure out how you're going to come out to fit yourself back in society. Figure out how you're going to come out to rebond with your kids and your family on the outside. That is what she needs to do, and stop sitting in the prison, pointing fingers and pulling up old voice notes for 2, 3, 4 years ago. That means you had a beef because I didn't contact you because I don't know you. You contact me because for whatever reason, maybe you see me on the street, because I used to be out there too. I used to be in the car of the life. I used to wear the weave them. I used to wear the wig and the eyelash and the makeup. You understand me? I used to do all of these things. I was glad at the time I didn't do no butter, shape, figure, and lift breast, because that was in me. But at the end of the day, when I was fluffer, I used to call myself fluffer to the world. When Miss Fluffer to the world, put on PR clothes, them and go out there so they look good. Just like any slimmers.
Yes.
You understand me? So she needs to just get it together. She really, really needs to get it together and wake up and say, listen, it happened already. I get the time for it. I need to make a change in my life. I need to make things better. I need to set examples now for my children. I need to let my children know this is not the rule.
Do you think, can I ask you a question? She is still professing her innocence. And a lot of people said, after she comes out of jail, she'll be able to fool some people and tell them that she was even in jail, because there are people who believe anything. Do you think she's fooling anyone by these constant posts where she's seeking to attack me, you, other people? She's just like blaming everybody else. The police set her up. This person has set her up. That person set her up. Do you think there are actually people out there who are believing this?
People do believe her because of what you portray of yourself. I mean, people believe. I have people right now, because I lived in West Bay for 14 years, and I had people right now in West Bay that still picked up the phone and said, Miss Conley, come deal with this, because they know that if I went and look at the situation and dealt with it, I could get the work done and I could get the job done. So there's a lot of people still look at me and perceive me as that type of person. Then on the other flip side of the coin of that, back in the days, who knows Carmelie, know that Carmelie is a bully or used to be a bully. And when me open my trumpet, I have to get what I want and get it done. Now, I have made changes in my life and said to myself, you know something? And I had to go down on my knees and pray to get those changes in my life. Being a bully does not get you nowhere in life. So I had to draw back. There's some place that I go and some people will test the waters with me and they see how calm I dealt with it. And they'll ask, Miss Carmelie, is that you? Miss Carmelie, that really you? Honestly? And I'm like, yeah, what happened? What's the problem? And they said, no, that's not the right comedy. Comedy, what happened, what the changes is, you have to evaluate yourself as you get older and say, listen, this game not a play no more. It used to play then, it can't play now. Society has gone too in a wide scale where there's certain things that people never put up with anymore. So you always have to make those changes. So with her in there pointing fingers and people believing, yeah, a lot of people can believe her, a lot of her followers can believe her. She have her friends, them like, say, well, all right, you know. But then that is their choice. Sandra, that is their choice if they want to believe her. A lot of people believe she's innocent. A lot believe she's guilty more than she's innocent. Personally speaking, I don't believe either whether she's guilty or she's innocent. I just believe the crime happened. She was involved. She found guilty. She's now serving her time. Make good of the time that you're in there and sort your life out the right way. Remember that you left them children out there. Them children is going to need the moral support from you, whether you're behind the bars or out on the street. Them children is going to need the support from you. Because I'm sure the husband is going to take the children to visit her. I'm sure the children is going to ask question, Mama, why you here? And I'm sure she's going to prove it in the children's head. I was set up and this and that. That is not what them children need to hear. The children need to hear something different. Just be strong. Mama soon come out. I'm praying that everything will be okay, that it will take care of you. Whoever else is in the play helping to take care of the children will take care of you. You know, at some point you need to come to the reality that you committed the crime. There's somewhere along the line there's a breaking point. And I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying this. I don't know if she'll appeal her case. I don't know. Maybe she might. And she needs to be careful when she appeals that case because she might end up getting more time on than taking more time off. So just sit and quiet and just ease yourself and say, Lord, guess what happened now? This went down, so I ask you to forgive me. Whether I'm innocent or I'm guilty, I beg you to forgive me. And start to pick up the Bible now and start to read a couple chapters, accept Christ as your personal Savior, and try to move on from there. Pray on a daily basis and move on from there. Stop scandaling people. What will you scandal people for? I don't know nothing about her. I don't even know what her right name is. If I see her in the street, I don't know what she look like. I only know her by one picture when this whole posting start to go on. I don't know her. I went in the street for years and I've never heard of her. Never ever heard of her. So how do I get in the middle of this? I'm just asking whoever it is out there on her behalf doing her post. If the prison do have a computer for them to go on to check their Facebook, I don't know. But if somebody's out there taking instructions from her and putting out the posts out there, be careful. Be careful. That's all I have to say this morning.
Yeah, because what I will say is, first of all, her constant doing this is a criminal offense. It can be harassment, and she continues to do it, despite the fact that just last week she was lucky enough a jury let her off on harassment charges. And so that has emboldened her and empowered her because, again, being the narcissist that she is, I'm very, very frank here, folks, she will never admit to any wrongdoing. That's not in her nature. That's not in her character. As you have pointed out this morning, you know, you have done quite a change in your life. And I guess that's what it takes for some people is the good Lord and their belief in him is the only thing that can have some people change. That unfortunately isn't her. And she's going to continue in her path. I've already reached out to her attorney from last week when she started posting stuff. And I said, listen, there's more ways than one to skin a cat. So she thinks that she got off with criminal charges because that jury was pretty clueless in terms of this campaign that she's been on. And, you know, now that she got off on that particular charge, she continues. But she could be looking at a civil lawsuit for defamation because there's some very interesting things and defamatory statements that this woman has made in her post, including accusing both you and I of being the ones who set her up to be arrested for this robbery, which is ridiculous. As you say, you don't know anything about her. I know even less about her. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in the streets, none at all. I don't run in her circles of friends. So up until back in 2019, when someone said, oh, she was involved in this body scam, I'd never even heard of her. She claims she's Cayman's #1 celebrity, but clearly not, because I've never heard of her before in my life. And
well,
now that
Jesus Christ #1 celebrity, she needs to be Jesus Christ #1 celebrity, where she is in the prison sitting down. She needs to be Jesus Christ #1 celebrity.
Now, now that she doesn't seem to understand that we have a job to report on cases. So as a case develops, as there's a new hearing, and she's no one unique. We have done this with all cases that we're following. And this robbery, this armed robbery, was a major case. It's not every day that you have an armed robbery in Cayman where the mastermind of it is actually a woman. And so that alone makes it newsworthy for more reasons than one. And other media houses report on this, but her obsession seems to be pushing this narrative that somehow somebody else is at fault for the robbery other than her. So her latest narrative is her claiming, oh, there was no ID parade where anybody came forward and pointed her out, and there's no DNA. I can tell you, as someone who sat there and watched the trial for myself, and this is for Carmen and everybody else, the amount of evidence that was presented, everything from cell phone tower evidence to CCTV camera evidence, her own story lying and not matching up. There's something called an adverse testimony, where she told the police one thing at the police interview, then she got on the stand and said something else. In law, it's called adverse inference. The judge and if it was a jury trial, they are allowed to take from that the person is lying and actually use that against them. That's in the law. Look it up, folks. Adverse inference. There was tons of evidence, her buying and purchasing the gloves. I mean, so much stuff, a circumstantial case for sure, but there was tons of circumstantial evidence. So for her to now claim that, oh, there was no ID parade and no DNA, somebody's confusing her. I don't know if she's trying to read law books while she's in prison, but those are not the things that are required for someone to be found guilty of an offense. And the judge said the evidence was overwhelming. That was the judge's words. That's not me.
I mean,
so her obsession is really a bit sad.
Yeah, but that is fine, Ms. Sandra, because at the end of the day, I don't study law and I don't care to study law. If I am charged for something, which I am in court at the moment for an incident where I was at Health City and somebody accused me of something that I didn't do. The case is not going anywhere, because last time I went to court, the judge said, why is this woman standing up in front of me? So they put me off with no date. So I don't have no date to go back. So I'm just waiting for them to tell me whether I got to come back or what they got to do with me at the end of the day. But until that is proven, and like you said, there are means of ways of proving the innocence of someone, and not only just proving the innocence of someone, proving the factor of the case. I mean, to me, after the police came to me, I said, did you go to Health City? No, I didn't. I have no reason to go because I did it. Fine, no problem. I did my own little research, because like I said, I don't know nothing about the law more than, I try to stay out of the law way. And I got all my stuff together and I present them to a lawyer, and the lawyer and the prosecutor is like, why is this woman here? The evidence is here. The medical report is here, though. So I'm just waiting to see what happens. But I'm more than happy to say when that time comes, Miss, I wouldn't even call you Miss Sandra Hill, and I wouldn't call you my sister. I got this CMR coordinator or whatever, news reporter, whatever it is, may I beg you to come do that case here for me. Sit in the whole trial and listen it and report on me just like how you would report on anybody else. You have a job to do. That's as simple as it is. So people need to get the understanding. They might say whatever, but Cayman Compass don't do this. But CNN don't do this. But this one don't do that. You run your platform how you choose to run your platform. I cannot stop you, or nobody can stop you how to run your platform. I mean, as a sister, I do talk to you, and I say to you, look here, tone it down a little bit. Try to tweak little things a little bit. I go to brawling. Come in how the brawling thing go. You understand me? So I say, kind of lighten up on them a little bit. I kill them. You understand me? And you don't answer me. You don't answer. I will talk to you and you don't even pay me no mind, because I don't exist when it comes to your business. That is fine with me. That is fine with me. You got to do your job. But don't bring other people involved. Don't bring other people in scandal, other people in break down people character. Don't do that. That is not nice. I mean, I'm not condemning her. I'm not condemning her. None at all. Whatever it is, it is. Whatever she did, whether she did it yes or no, let it go, move on, get your sentence, sit down in there so now, and like the judge said, focus. Focus on where do you want to go in life. Focus on how you want to set your life. And like I said earlier, she needs to focus in a sense of humor where she say, Lord, I may be guilty, I may not be guilty. That's between her and the Lord. She talked to the Lord about it, and she pick up a Bible and she read, and if she so wishes that she need a pastor to come in and talk with her, she can make the prison know, and the prison have pastors that will come in, sit with her, pray with her, and lead her in the right direction to accept Christ as our personal Savior. You understand me? But it has to stop somewhere. It's a breaking point for everybody in life to say this is not the road that we want to trot on anymore. Hey man, it's so expensive. You can't go. One time I could have run into the shop with $300, $400, $500, $600. They can't barely go in with $50. We need to start to and then with that, then you have to look at the type of lifestyle that you live again. So therefore, I would go and buy 3 and 4 pairs of shoes, because every Sunday I go to church, I need a new dress and I need a new pair of shoes, because I want them to know, say, yes, for me in at the time too. No. So if that be the case, I gotta wear one shoes until the heel bends. So I go wear it, because at the end of the day, I need to start looking at this world, and not even just Cayman alone. The world is not going to get any better financially than what it is. It's going to get worse, so we have to save every dollar. So she needs to understand that waking up while she's in the prison system, she needs to wake up and say to herself, listen, I am out. I did the crime. I'm in here. I have to make a difference. I have to make that difference for my children. Now it's no longer about her and whether she's innocent or whether she's guilty or whether people set her up or whether people did. It's all about those young children that she have out there. Look at the factor when them children go to school and people hear these things. They hear their parents talk. They hear people talking. You understand me? And now what? The stigma is going to be on the children. The children is going to be abused. The children is going to get bullied at school. She needs to stop and think. She needs to stop and think. And for her followers out there that are following her on her page, or she's instructing them what to do, you guys need to stop, and you need to start saying to her, listen, whether you're innocent or you're guilty, you're there where you is. Putting things on the Facebook post and scandaling people on the Facebook post does not make it no better for you. Just let it go. It is what it is, and that's just how it is.
All right, my dear. Well, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Good. All right, bye-bye. Folks, what a hot mess. So all of this, in case some of you are listening, like, what on earth is this all about? All of this is about someone who, quite frankly, cannot admit because of their narcissistic ways, and that's my opinion. I'm sticking by it. They cannot admit after being convicted by a judge, after the judge rendering quite a substantial decision. And again, if anybody is inclined to believe that she's innocent, judgments are available. You can go on the Cayman Judicial website and you can see exactly what the judge had before her and how she came to the decisions that she did. And now she's issued a sentencing judgment of 10 years. I guess it is something that, Mrs. Cupid, aka Eve High Voltage, is not capable of dealing with. And so as a result of that, she continues to try to point the finger at other people. And it is very, very unfortunate, because the only way that you can take the judge's advice, which is to try to, turn your life around and make the best of it, is you have to submit to yourself. And if you believe in a God, you have to ask God for forgiveness. But that actually means, folks, that, you admit that you were wrong. And until you can come to that point of admitting that you were wrong, then you will forever be living in denial and playing these unfortunate games. And this is exactly, what is happening. this is why I don't have any sympathy for her. But as the caller said, you do feel for her children, because imagine having your primary caregiver at some point in your life being this type of delusional individual. It's really sad. And this is not the first time. Back in, I can't remember when this was. This was some weeks ago. I think this is when she was actually convicted. She was posting again blaming. She blames the Hamity family at Tortuga. She blames CMR for her being arrested and conviction, I guess, doing the robbery. You know, she has blamed a police officer who was at the scene. All this stuff. And this is some good advice from Andrea at the time that she made that post. Andrea said, baby girl, I'm saying this with love. Stay off the internet for now, because despite her being incarcerated, she seems to have an unbelievable amount of access to the internet. Even if she's not posting it herself, she has access to be able to send people messages on what to post. In fact, she's posting old videos of herself out partying and having a good time as though she's not even in prison. I mean, it's just shocking and unbelievable, right? But Andrea says, baby girl, I'm saying this with love. Stay off the internet for now. And if it's someone else using her page, please stop it, because it's not making her look good. I have known you for years, and the thing I love about you is that you're always the person in your own shadow, and you walk with pride and never let what people say get in your head, because it can't be easy for you. I'm sorry for your babies, because you're a damn good mother, but they will be okay. I know, and I pray that you'll be a great woman, and I know and I pray that they will be great women and men in their generation. But baby girl, I will never judge you, because we're all humans and we make errors at time. I commend you for being brave and speaking your mind, but please learn from your mistakes and let the Lord fight your battles, as you must have seen you fighting your own battles not working. So do me a favor. Do what you have to do, baby girl. Get it right and come back as the queen you are, and shine in a positive way. You got this, and learn from your mistakes. Sometimes we need a little setback for a great comeback, and you will have the chance to do so. You got this. You made mistakes, but God is a forgiving God. Fix your crown, queen. You're going to be all right. So yes, interesting choice of words, calling her queen, but nonetheless, her friends are trying to encourage her to, I don't know, get past this, deal with this. But again, if you're incapable, how many of us have ever been in a situation like this? I think we all can relate on some level, even if it's a minor level. You were not willing to admit that you were wrong, and you can't deal with a situation if you're not willing to admit that you're wrong. So you have to take some degree of accountability. And as long as she continues to live in denial, folks, I think the rest of us will be tormented by her. The posts are just unbelievable. Imagine, she has gotten 10 years and 6 months. She's only going to serve probably about 6 of that. But she has 6 years of not doing anything else on the backs of the people of the Cayman Islands. We are paying for her and every other inmate to be incarcerated, and she will be using her time to harass people in the community, to continually talk about she's innocent, pretend she's not even in jail. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. At what point will the prison gain control of this situation? And someone actually just sent me a message this morning saying, why the hell doesn't Danny Greaves write to their social media, aka Facebook, and let them know that she's in prison and she and her people need to get help, because her Facebook account can be taken down by Facebook, by Meta, if she's incarcerated. That's the prison's responsibility to do so. That doesn't have anything to do with us. But she is now utilizing this platform, to continue this reign of terror on people, because she refuses to admit that she was the mastermind in the robbery, despite a judge saying, yes, you were. Somebody else says, well, Sandy, please state on your show that the service she needs to get help with is narcissistic disorder. She can have the service for free whilst incarcerated. So the prison has that. Wow. Okay. Well, They have it. They obviously need to make it available to people. But once again, it comes down to personal accountability where people have to say, I know I have a problem and I need help. So Ms. Brenda says journalists have the freedom to publish any story with only the facts, but not add their personal comments, especially when they're non-factual and derogatory. Well, Ms. Brenda, I would challenge you, especially as it relates to this young lady, to really show where the facts have not been reported. She takes issue with the fact that her, facts and her life story is beyond interesting. And, when we reported on her conviction the other day, there was not one iota of opinion in there except opinions that came from the judge, because that's what the judge does. The judge shares what she thinks in the sentencing. And the judge is the one who said that she is shrewd. She is a shrewd and manipulative young lady. Those are not our words, folks. I might also share that opinion. I agree with the judge, but in the story, those were the judge's words. That was a direct quote from the judge, right? So the judge said, this is a serious robbery. And in fact, I think she's being quite lenient with only the 10 years that she got. Unwarranted, cruel, and degrading when the man kicks the victim in the face while she's on the ground. I would love for more and more people to actually attend these cases in court to see for yourself what happens and what's going on, because I think there is a learning process that one has to undergo with even understand how the court system works. So Aliano, good morning. Aliano says, yes, Lord. Same thing I told Miss Sandra. Post me on Marl Road. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will be humble about it. Now just aiming for jackass of the day. So, Melita says she needs to take a seat and focus on how she can be of some help to her kids while being incarcerated. And yes, I agree with Melita. This hyper focused on her so-called innocence is absolutely ridiculous. And I'm sure that if she believes she is innocent and there's any evidence to prove that, her lawyer will more than be happy to use the money from the people of the Cayman Islands, because she is legally funded. So that's our money, once again, that is being misused. I'm sure her lawyer will appeal the case to a higher court, to the Court of Appeal, and he'll lose because, listen, I watch prosecution cases day in and day out, and I can tell you this is one case, the CCTV footage, the pings from the phones, the messages, the other witnesses that were called. This was pretty much an open shut case. The prosecution had it together in this regard. So nobody wasn't walking away from this, claiming that she didn't even know the co-accused, but then having to admit on the stand that, oh yeah, that night from my alibi, he was bringing me documents to take out a work permit for him, although I had no job for him. But we thought you said you didn't know him. Like, it was just, the case, as a judge said, overwhelming evidence, right? So Cece says, Aliano, I am going to report for myself because now I can't get the sugar daddy number that drives that blue car. Folks, at the end of the day, I've said it before, and based on the caller that called in this morning, it's worth saying again that we don't curry favor with anyone on this program. We report on everyone equally, friends, family, colleagues, it doesn't really matter. If you are in the news for some reason, we will report on you. And, we try to do it in a fair and balanced manner in the actual story. Now, what happens on this show, and I think y'all need to recognize that this is a talk show. It's an opinion-based show. So yes, I will sit here and give my opinion about individuals, and you take it for that, an opinion. And remember, everybody has an opinion. So you don't have to agree with my opinion. You don't have to like my opinion. You don't have to engage with my opinion. Those are all personal choices, just like I'm free to give my opinion. And, it is what it is. So at the end of the day, folks, I don't know what to say. Like, people need to learn to take some personal accountability. So Miss Moya says, honestly, she needs to focus on how to evolve herself individually and as a mother. as her actions influence her children. And it's important that she raise two well-rounded, moral, and socially accepted individuals that will be able to add and contribute to her society, not to be a burden to it as she is now. She needs to realize it is not how far you fall or fail in life, it's what you do as after to fix and better yourself. And to Moya's point, listen, there have been people who have fallen spectacularly on their face and have risen back up from the ashes. And there is always hope. As long as you have life, folks, there's always hope for you to be a better person and to do better and to learn from your own mistakes. Who of us can say that, we are perfect and we are not on a journey of trying to learn? That's the journey that we should be on. But when you're stuck in, blaming other people for the things that have happened that you yourself caused to happen in your life, these are not mistakes. You don't accidentally rob someone with armed robbery. You don't accidentally be the getaway car driver. You don't accidentally mastermind. These are very plotted things that as individuals, we might, for whatever reason, get ourselves involved in. And so the only advice I can say is that, a lot of us have made horrendous mistakes in our life. And as long as you have life, my dear, there is always hope. There's always hope for you, as Miss Moya said, to rise up again and to even be a better person. 6 years in prison, she could get a degree. She could really focus her energy in such a positive way. And that is what we hope that some of our prisoners are actually doing. Instead of sitting there wasting their time, use that time to make your life better. The judge said to the young man, you don't even know how to read. Use that time to do that literacy program and come out knowing how to read, so that when you return to Jamaica after your deportation, at least you might be able to get a job because you can actually now read and maybe write. Right? Miss Brenda says choices have consequences, and that's really what it's all about. Good morning to Remy. How are you? He says, do you still have that recipe for the rice and beans? Child, I'm still trying to master rice and beans. All now. It is an uphill battle. Y'all know I'll be trying to make my rice and beans with brown rice, right? To be a little bit healthier. But I got to tell you, it ain't easy. But you know what? This morning I was on Facebook, and on a positive note, Facebook always has these Facebook memories that come up. I'm sure you guys have seen them before. And so the Facebook memory that came up for me was from 7 years ago, I believe. Let me see here now. I think it was 7 years ago. And so Facebook was reminding me that 7 years ago on this day, I was actually, 7 years ago, that June the 21st of 2015, it was actually Father's Day. And I was out with my uncle and Marlon, and we were enjoying a nice Father's Day lunch with my uncle, who has since passed away. These are the things, folks, that are important in life. This is what matters. He's my favorite uncle of all times. There's Uncle Raymond. We took him, ironically enough, to Papagallo's. And can I tell you something? I think that this was the last time that I went to Papagallo's before this past Sunday. I actually went on Father's Day again this year, and they actually do a brunch now. At this time, they weren't doing a brunch, but they had a lobster special for Father's Day, a lobster and steak special. So we treated Uncle Raymond to that. He came with me and Marlon, and there's Marlon with a curly mad hair that day. But there's Uncle Raymond really enjoying himself. He had a nice steak dinner, some mashed potatoes, and 2 lobster tails. Oh my gosh, it was so delicious. Surf and turf, look at that. And of course, it wouldn't be a good dinner without a little bit of dessert. So there's an apple tart with some nice fresh ice cream. Y'all hear when I talk about food, how happy I am? Y'all know me already. Love me some food. That's why when I hear Chef Remy talking about rice and beans, I'm like, ooh, honey chill. Chef Remy, chef extraordinaire. Andrea says, before I make any wrong decisions, the first thing that comes to my mind are my children. I think what is going to happen to them, how it will affect them if I go to jail. And I love my kids too much to put them through that torment. Andrea, can I tell you that that's a real, yes, I think as parents, I hope that we all think about, even if we don't care about ourselves, that we do think about the impact that our decisions and the things that we do, especially anything that is going to take us away from our children, think about that, because that's really, really important. Oh my God. I cannot imagine my little Gigi every single night. I'm here in the office working 12:30. She got up last night after 12 and she comes, she's like, I can hear her walking. Mommy, where are you? And I'm like, okay, I'm coming. I got to sleep with her still. She's not sleeping by herself yet, but I can't imagine that going away. Like I could not fathom not being there for her. My God, I wouldn't even know what to do. These are the things, honestly, that break your heart. Oh my God. So yes, I agree with Andrea. Like sometimes you think about different decisions and whatever in life, but you toe that line because you have somebody else to think about, namely your children. And anyone who, and we get this all the time, people are like, oh, what about his family members? And sometimes we post up stories and we have people's children's contacting us and they're like, oh, this is making us look bad. And I said, well, I'm sure it does make you look bad, but that's a conversation you need to be having with your mom or your dad. We have to report on the news. And if the criteria that we use is that it's going to make people in the family look bad, we would never report on anybody, even Donald Trump. I mean, Donald Trump makes everybody around him look bad. Him and his daughter, having a monumentous fallout at the moment because she has admitted that she did not buy into his, the election was stolen from me theory. And, the two of them have a strained relationship. But when you have people in your life and around you who make decisions, not thinking about anybody else, they're very, very selfish individuals, and it is what it is. Marshall says, right, get a degree with the people's money instead of being a nuisance with so much time in your hands. He says that he also remembers Mr. Raymond. He was my neighbor when I grew up in Palmdale. Oh, I didn't know that you grew up in Palmdale. Rest in peace. Yes, he passed away a number of years ago. So, these are the things that are important. So Father's Day was this weekend. I know that because we didn't have the show on Friday, I didn't get an opportunity to really, do much of a Father's Day greeting. So of course, wanted to wish all of you, I hope that you had a fantastic Father's Day. And I posted, I don't know if you guys saw that on our social media platforms, a big shout out to the Cayman Islands Regiment. The regiment volunteers and regiment members have been on a 9-week training course. Listen, folks, these people are taking time away from their families, from their jobs, and from other things to participate and be involved in the regiment. And I want to shout out to all of them who are out there on Father's Day weekend working incredibly hard. I really wish them the best. Now, I was just saying that we have to take off our hats and we have to be thankful, folks, for the men in our lives who make the sacrifices every single day. There's so many other things that, men could be doing, getting themselves in all sorts of trouble. And I think that sometimes we undervalue fathers, we undervalue men. And I think that Father's Day is one opportunity to do that, but we should be doing it all the time. We should always be thankful for them stepping up to the plate and being there for their children. Whether you've got one child, 2 children, or 10 children, just be the best father that you possibly can. So I'm just doing a little video clip here for our online viewers of Marlon and Gigi They've been BFFs technically before she was even born, folks. I mean, trust me when I tell you, you have no idea. He'd be telling this baby, kick, kick, and she would do it on demand. As soon as she heard his voice when she came out, she gave a little smile that was a bit of recognition, like, oh, I know this person. I've heard his voice before. So, yes, thank you so much. So Miss Brenda is asking, do you know when Cayman travel will cease, and has the mask mandate ended on Cayman Airways yet? So no to both questions. I don't think travel Cayman is going to be ceasing anytime soon, only because there will still be people who are coming in who will be subject to some requirements, especially work permit holders. I understand that they will continue to have those individuals be vaccinated. The vaccination requirement will definitely remain in place for them. Having said that, I also don't think that the mask mandates on airlines is really going anywhere. Somebody was sharing with me recently, I think that was Eddie, that he was in Spain. And although there was no mask mandate at the airport itself, when they got on the plane for like an 8 or 9 hour flight, there was a mask mandate to be able to get on the plane. So around the world, it's kind of confusing because some people have mask mandates, some people don't. Vaccinations, some people are lifting, some people aren't. So yes, here in the Cayman Islands, the mask mandate remains in place. Now, the current regulations are expiring next week, Thursday. So the government is in the process of revising those and what those will entail. And I think probably in the next day or so, we will have an idea of what that will be. Mask mandates, I hear, might be changed slightly, and there will be some other changes coming down the pipeline. So Irvlin says on the BA flight, you don't need a mask. Yeah, I mean, it just varies by airline, you know. But if I were you and you were traveling, I would say, especially on a plane where you're in pretty close proximity to other people, I would encourage all of you to probably do wear your mask. There are just certain things that still will offer you some degree of protection. So there's breaking news coming out of Jamaica this morning. I'm sure Renee is probably already working on this story for the website. But a Clarendon mother and her 4 children have actually been found dead in the community of New Road near Chapelton. All of their throats have been slashed, police have said, and this is trending all over Jamaican news and soon to hit regional and international news as well. So caller, good morning to the program. We will be ending the program in just a couple seconds on Bobo, but you can certainly start with your comments.
It's time for this stuff to end.
Sorry?
It's time for this stuff to end. What's the percentage of people who've been vaccinated in Cayman?
Okay, 1 second. We're going to go ahead and end. Bobo listeners, we'll see you guys tomorrow morning.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels.
This is a bit of an interesting situation because you're on the call. I don't know if the Bobo listeners were actually able to hear our outro because I wasn't able to hear it. So chances are they probably didn't hear it either. That's interesting. Something I might want to think about. Accepting a call.
Maybe you're not even out.
Sorry?
Maybe you're not even out.
No, I've ended the connection, but I'm thinking that if I have a call on the board, the other available input, I guess, wouldn't be able to play at the same time. So they probably didn't hear the outro. Okay, Denny, your thoughts before we end the program today are?
I think anybody who's want to be vaccinated in Cayman now has been vaccinated.
Oh, thank you, Jared, and thank you, Alice. They confirmed that they did hear it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, thank you for that. Because there's certain things that in the studio that I hear and don't hear. As you can see, I couldn't hear that at all. But thank you, guys. So you heard that on, I'm guessing, Facebook. I'm curious if the radio listeners heard it as well. So if anybody was on the radio, let me know if you heard that. But thank you, Alice.
I didn't hear it.
Okay, Denny. So you're saying that the foolishness needs to stop.
Yeah. I'm saying that anybody who wants to be vaccinated in Cayman is vaccinated.
Mm-hmm.
Anyone who doesn't want to be vaccinated won't be. And the people who are at risk, meaning those who have underlying health conditions, are the ones who should be taking precautions, not the majority of the population who are vaccinated should be able to get on with the rest of their lives, because this is going to have a real profound impact on the rest of everyone's life.
Mm-hmm.
And so we need to transition to where the people who, the small number of people who may be at risk now are the ones who need to take precautions in society, and the rest of us need to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they're keeping these measures in place for the local population that is has the protection.
Mm-hmm.
Then we should just be able to move on.
So right now, if you want to go to the US, you still have to be vaccinated.
Yeah.
So your position is the US should also drop.
I'm not talking about the US.
Oh, okay. So you're just saying
I'm talking about the Cayman. I'm talking about the Cayman Islands. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
We need to move on. And this article that, in quotes, where apparently politicians attacked the CMO.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just take that with a grain of salt. I think that some people can't handle being challenged.
Mm-hmm.
And I doubt very much that the premier would just sit there and allow the chief medical officer to just be attacked, in quotes.
That's interesting.
What do you mean it's interesting? You think the premier would just sit there and allow the chief medical officer to be attacked?
I mean, we can certainly ask him when he's on the show tomorrow.
Well, you should, but I don't. I don't think I like what I know of him. I don't think you just sit there and do that.
Well, he may have tried. I mean, I don't want to say too much, but he may have tried to have them dial it back, and maybe he was unsuccessful. Because we're talking about a verbal attack here, not a physical attack.
No, I understand, but like, what's an attack when I say something? Like, do you understand? Like, when I get off the phone, how some people think that you and I are at each other's throats. And
well, I don't know why. I don't know why they would think that, because.
But that's my point. That's my point.
We don't raise. But listen, no one here is raising their voices and yelling and questioning someone's professional credentials and the stuff that we heard coming out of this. So that's a very different situation, right?
What I'm saying is that some people can't handle that kind of pushing in a arguments in a conversation. They just like they take it too personal, right? And what I'm saying is that if you put to someone that what they're saying is not something that we should be doing any longer, of course the person is gonna.
So you think a professional with her years of experience would be so offended by just someone disagreeing with her that she
I don't know her. I don't know what happened. Right. No, I don't know what happened. I'm just saying that some people are that way. You see, the word attacked is a very strong word. Me disagreeing with you is not attacking you.
And I think that's the point of the article, is that she obviously did not feel that this was just a disagreement.
Okay.
And others have shared that same sentiment who witnessed it as well.
And so what she is saying is that she was being yelled at.
She's saying that the line of questionings, this is again what I understand have transpired, went too far, and it went beyond any degree of, we're just having a difference of opinion here, and it was unprofessional, and they were questioning her very they were questioning her ethics in the business that she's in, her professional ethics.
Well, have you seen the questioning that Rand Paul has been putting to Fauci? Have you seen that Fauci is actually avoiding answering the questions? In other words, Rand Paul is asked. No, this is same subject. Rand Paul is saying to him, look, there's no research that justifies giving children the vaccine. Fauci sits there and he ignores that question altogether and he talks about something else. Rand Paul goes back and he says, well, will you answer my question? And Fauci refuses to answer the question. And what I'm saying to you is, if you look at what Rand Paul is doing, some people would think, well, he's going a little bit overboard. The way I see it is that Fauci isn't doing the country a service by not answering the question. If he has an answer to the question, he should just simply answer the question. And so when the word attack is used, I'm like a little, I wasn't there. I don't know what happened, but I feel strongly that this issue, it's time for us to move on. And the reason is we cannot, it's foolish to continue to put the economy in such a situation that we risk a lot of people down the road. They're going to lose jobs. They're going to lose the cost of living is going to go through the roof, and they probably will end up losing their houses. We need to move on. It is right now. Some people might think, well, I'm making it. But when your mortgage payments go up and you can no longer afford to make your payments, you are going to lose
but
your house.
Your mortgage payments are going up, and that doesn't have anything to do with restrictions. They're going up because the feds are trying to get this inflationary situation under control.
Well,
so Ms. Brenda says it's not a stable. Ms. Brenda says that's not a stable comparison. Rand Paul is a disrespectful jackass and is just show boasting to impress an audience of one. Who is Rand Paul? Who's this person?
I think he's probably a politician.
He's a representative. I think he's a senator.
And so in the U.S., we should be using their example of what's respectful.
No, what I'm saying is
after what they did on Capitol Hill.
What I'm saying is that if we don't get back to people making money, we're going to destroy the economy for many people. They're going to lose their jobs anyhow if we keep it up. Okay? They're going to lose their houses. And if the government is not in a position to help these people because the numbers will be too much, it is going to be ugly. And what I'm saying to you is that there are always risks in society. I don't know who told people that life is risk-free, but it's not.
Well,
The virus that caused the 1918 pandemic is still circulating as one of the viruses that caused the flu. This virus is not going anywhere. So my question is, at what point are we going to cut to the chase and realize that we need to move on? Because the people are vaccinated. You say the vaccine works, let's just get on with life.
Okay. Thank you, Danny.
All right, take care.
All righty, bye-bye. All right, folks. We have Senor Jared joining us. Thank you, Brenda. I knew he was some American politician, but I think I was probably being a bit facetious when I said, who is he? He's supposed to be someone that I'm listening to. Why?
Just a quick
Can't
2
hear you.
minute. Well, you can hear me?
Moya says it is my option that we should continue
Can
the
you hear
mask
me?
mandate and opinion, I think is what you meant to say, and review again at the end of the year. Like I said, it's people have different opinions. And of course, we have accepted to a large extent, Moya and others, that we have to move forward. And we have done that. Cruise ships are back. Our borders are open. Planes are coming in by the plane load. People are coming in every single day. We've got people posting on social media that they're coming in. They don't even have a place to stay. They have no jobs. They have nothing. And here they come wanting to bunk with somebody and roll in bed with somebody that they don't even know. I think it's really a question of how, how much do we just throw open the doors? How much do we throw caution to the wind? So I accept Denny's position that there's risk in every single thing that you do in life, but there are we always take mitigating factors. Look at the car accidents out there, folks. There is a risk for driving every single day on Cayman roads, but some of the things you can do to help mitigate those risks: wear your seatbelt, right? Look out for other drivers, engage in defensive driving, give people enough car space between, so you don't run into rear end somebody. There are total risk involved in everything you do in life. And so with that, we take some mitigation into consideration. And mask wearing, vaccinations, washing your hands, all these things have been mitigating things that we have implemented, because nothing, if some of y'all wore mask, double mask, and you still caught COVID. So it really wasn't a question of, are you going to catch COVID or you're not going to catch COVID? It really is a question of what can you do to try to mitigate. So everybody knew from day one that the vaccine isn't going to prevent you from getting COVID. The hope and the proof is in the pudding that it would help you from getting seriously sick, or it would help you from, getting seriously sick or potentially dying from it. And still, that's a risk, mitigation and risk and other things that were involved. And it really just depended on your own situation. So there are people who, because of comorbidities and other issues, they were vaccinated, caught COVID, and still died. Because it's not a cure-all. It wasn't a panacea to everything. It was like, okay, here's how we help mitigate and help you, give you a fighting chance should you get it. So these are the things that were put in place. So Andrea says she couldn't be a politician in Parliament in Jamaica, then laughing out loud, because then politicians cussed each other out across the room. But she's not a politician. And this is why I want us to be very, very careful. She is a civil servant. So these are not politicians sitting in the legislative assembly having a go at each other. In that case, we've seen Singapore and other places, they throw shoes at each other. They pick up the chair. Even in the UK, they be carrying on and cussing, whatever. She's not a politician. She is a civil servant. Civil servants, professional civil servants, and all civil servants deserve respect, even from the elected members, which they have to serve and work along with. She's a professional. And so you can imagine, as someone who is working in a professional capacity, that she would have an expectation, I can't say that I blame her, of being treated and respected in a particular way by the politicians who, not for nothing, but haven't worked anywhere near as long as she has in the field of public health, because they've not worked in public health at all. None of them have infectious disease expertise. None of them have worked in the back roads of Congo and the bush dealing with Ebola and all these other things. She has. So her expertise, I dare say, should be respected. It is not a situation where you should be questioning her professional integrity based on the fact that, you don't like the current protocols that are in place. That has nothing to do with her professional qualifications. You may not like it and you may not agree with it, but I don't think that you should be undermining her professional, credentials. Most people who are professionals would be highly insulted by that sort of thing. Jared, you got 2 minutes to say what you got to say. Have you figured out your audio?
You can hear me now?
Nope. Still not figured it out. Figured out for tomorrow.
Yeah.
And we'll continue the conversation. So tomorrow, folks, is Wednesday, Hump Day Wednesday. Hope you guys have a fabulous day today. Please be safe. I think we're in for a little bit of rain. I don't know. I keep begging y'all, don't be crashing into each other, but I think it's falling on deaf ears. It's safe to say that just doesn't work. But you know, you guys can hear him, but I can't hear him at all. Huh. So strange. I cannot hear him for the world. So strange. All right. And all my buttons are up, so I should be able to hear him. So I'm not sure what's going on there. All right. So we'll try it again tomorrow. Unfortunately, if I can't hear him, we can't really have much of a conversation, but we'll get that sorted out. Folks, have a fabulous day, and please stay blessed. Don't get stressed out. You know, we all in this boat together, and we have to try to do our best. Are we our brother's keeper? Yes, up to a certain extent. We have to try to help people where we can. So again, the effort is out to help this family in East End find a container. So if you know of anyone who has a container, who you know, wishes to donate a container to that family in the house fire so that they can use that to kind of store their stuff. And I don't know how bad the house fire is. I don't know if the property has to be gutted or what has to happen, but they're looking for a container to be able to store those items that, you know, were saved while they try to rebuild. Please reach out if you have access to a container and you can help them. That would definitely be appreciated. Again, our condolences to the gentleman who lost his life in the swimming situation, and we will continue to have some discussions. So tomorrow, I didn't get to talk about immigration scammers today, so let's talk about that tomorrow. And there's also a post that went up about how expats should be lobbying the government. This is crazy, to change the law, the immigration law, as it relates to you being able to keep your children here on a work permit when you're below that threshold of being able to add them to your work permit. I was like, what? You want to lobby who and do what? Tune in tomorrow, folks. Let's talk about that and other topical issues. You guys have a fantastic day. Be safe until then, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of The Cold Hard Truth on Bobo 89.1 FM. Cayman's #1 talk show is live weekdays from 7:30 a.m. Never miss an episode again. Watch anytime on CMR's Facebook and YouTube channels for the latest show episodes. Don't forget to follow us online on our social media channels and visit CaymanMarlRoad.com for all the latest news and community happenings.